Wow, what a absolutely crazy day. I think I said yesterday, or at least I was thinking it, but I think I said something like it's just been a while since something's happened in the news, and it seems like yeah, the Epstein stuff was like really popping off, but like at this point, it's been going on for a while. I think the news cycle was getting like a little tired of it. At least I don't know. And then I woke up from my nap, which I haven't taken a good nap like that in a while. Holy smokes! And like Charlie Kirk was shot. It's kind of crazy because I mean I said this in some comments, some tweets I made, but he was like his career was doing better than ever. I mean, he was like parodied by South Park and like obviously he was like probably just reaping the rewards of like his policy. I mean, like and like siding with Trump and like he really was like he was doing well. I think and one thing I did compare um this assassination to was the killing of Horst Wessel, the NSDAP kid. It's just like political violence has always been something, historically speaking, that has been met with retaliation. I mean, that's basically how the Weimar era was run. That's basically how I think of like other times of radicalism in history, like Tokyo in the pre-war period was also like a hotbed of political violence, and it's I just don't see anything coming out of this that's good. Yeah, the guy was really bad. He helped bust in people to J6. He was like racist, and but he did also, on the other hand, like totally pioneer this whole online space, and like to die like that is just awful. He probably bled out just so fast. I mean, it was a total kill shot. It was just insane. I'm just, it's so weird. You just spend so long. I really have disliked Kirk for a long time, and he's just dead. You never think he could just die like that. Just crazy feelings about it. I'm also farming it for Twitch views, so I'm also a huge hypocrite. I have grapes. That's my snack for tonight while I stream. I don't really remember where I left off in Umineko. I don't even think they've caught the guy yet. I heard like all kinds of stuff all day about it. And I don't know. I don't think celebrating his death is a good thing. Because political violence goes both ways. And like, I'm a DSA member. I mean, I've died in the red as it gets, but I'm not like a revolutionary type. I just don't think this is good at all. I mean, the Trump assassination was in Butler. I knew people who went to that rally, and it's just like, ugh. It's so bizarre. I think Trump putting the flags at half-mast is kind of goofy. He's not even a government employee, but... And I think his kids were there too, which is just so awful. Nobody deserves to see their father die. Not like that. I think you can criticize Charlie Kirk and like what he did and like all the evil he just pushed into the world, but also I don't know, I feel at least a little humanity for him. I feel bad for his family. I watched the video like a bazillion times from like 8 different angles. And yeah, I'm kind of perpetually like one of those, oh, let's wait till the media confirms it type of guys. It's just like who I am. Like, I didn't want to believe he was dead until I saw the news report it. But I was proven wrong. Like, I thought, I mean, some people said it like severed his spine. At first, I thought, like, when I first watched the video, I thought it had been, you know, typical political assassinations just aren't like a long distance thing. Well, I just say usually. I always think about like people who just walk up with a pistol, bam. But no, this guy was like on the roof apparently, and it's just like so crazy. I don't really think. Oh well. I don't think. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that. I don't know. It's just so bizarre and bewildering. Also, it broke Twitter. That's all I probably really had to say about it. I don't really have a particularly like radical or interesting take, but I think political violence is just something that's is retaliatory, and there could be bad things coming because of it. All right, that is my two penny opinion on this shit that happened. Let's jump back into it. Kinzo noticed the sound of raindrops beating on the window. It seemed to be pouring down thickly. It had begun to rain later in the weather report had later than the weather report had predicted. Kinzo approached the window as if being summoned by the sound of the rain. The sound of rain is a sound of silence. The sound feels quieter than any silence. It makes humans remember that, in the end, they are alone. From the moment they're born to the moment they die. That's kind of ominous. Jeez. You're late, Beatrice. Were those words directed at the rainy sky? There was no one to be seen in the direction of Kinzo's gaze. Well then, let us begin. Let us begin our banquet of miracles. This island has now been cut off from the world. Now there are none who can interrupt my ceremony. There are many fitting sacrifices for you. I think he's gonna sacrifice his whole freaking family. 4 of my children, 3 of their companions, 4 of my grandchildren, me and my guests and my servants. You may devour as many as you please. The key of fate will select the sacrifices in accordance with the demon's roulette. If that roulette chooses me, even I will become your sacrifice. However, because of that, because I will bet on such madness, I will most assuredly bring forth a grand miracle. Come, devour to your heart's content. I will achieve victory over that roulette. Yes, I'll put everything on the line. I wonder if this is just me totally like braining. I wonder how many viewers Hassan has. 104,000. Holy moly. Yes, I'll put everything on the line. First, I'll return the inheritance of the Shiramiya family. Accept it. Kinzo tore the window open, ripped a golden ring off his finger, and forcefully threw it away. At that time, the sound of thunder rang out, giving the illusion that the lightning had accepted the ring. And when you are resurrected, surely, I will be the one who stands witness. I will survive until the end and watch over as you awaken. So come, Beatrice. Welcome to my banquet. In exchange for all that I have created, show me another miracle just this once. Ooh, Beatrice. Oh, that was a short dialogue scene. Okay. I wish I had done that last night. Oh well. Alright, it is now 6 o'clock. We left off. Oh, I forgot. Rosa was like exposed as a child beater. That freaking broke my little heart. A news ticker popped up on top of the TV program we were watching. The disaster report told how many municipalities all over were continually sending out rain, flood, and wave warnings. Of course, the raindrops were beating harshly on the window were even more convincing. This rain's incredible. Still, when it's raining this hard, it also feels like it might stop at any moment. Yeah, that's kind of... I agree. I miss, like, just... I want one more good thunderstorm before the season's over. You wish. They said the typhoon's moving slow, so it might be like this all day tomorrow. Oh, that'd be so sick. I'm like that. Imagine that picture of the guy, the meme of the guy's rubbing his hands, like me, when the bedtime has a severe thunderstorm warning. And even a little bad weather stops the boats from coming. It looks like we won't be able to head out Sunday after all. So how are they gonna start this whole thing with the riddle? Are they just gonna wait? Just in case, I cleared out all outside business from my Monday schedule, and I'm glad I did it. Which means, looks like we'll get to skip school Monday. Living on an island's starting to sound pretty good. Come to think of it, Jessica, you've got to take a boat to school every day, don't you? What do you do when the boat stops running? Do you stay home when it rains and show up late when the wind's blowing like King Kamehameha? That's a weird... I'm surprised Battler is familiar with King Kamehameha. Kind of a big pull from him, but you go, King. If the boats don't come, I stay home. I wonder if the taxpayers pay for that boat. Still, it's not as good as it sounds. Usually I'm ordered to study by myself, and it's not that fun with someone standing right behind you watching everything you do. During the rainy season, does the weather ever stay bad for a long time and make you miss a bunch of days in a row? That does happen sometimes. That sucks. Still, I'd get a call from my homeroom teacher every single day who'd sourly guide me on how I should teach myself and what I had to turn in. She can't skip school as easily as you're imagining, Battler-kun. She's got to follow the rules for people that travel to school by boat and get a good amount of studying done. It'd actually be easier to just go to school in my own room. I get distracted and I can't concentrate. I'm exactly like that. Like, if I'm in my room, like, this computer is just gonna, like, soak up my brain. There's nothing productive gets done in here. After being made to do nothing but workbooks for several days straight, it's pretty hard to handle all that mental stress. When I get into college, I just want to go to some dorm and quickly say goodbye to this inconvenient island. This is, like, no way to grow up. Ah, okay. By the way, what do you do when the weather's good in the morning, but then gets so bad on your way home that the boats are closed? Oh, that's a good question. Do you spend the night at school? That actually happens a lot. Because of that, they've built some lodgings there for people who can't get back to the island they live on. That's where you'd spend the night. Sometimes, when it gets really bad, you can't get back home for a few days at a time. This sucks. I don't want to live on an island. She would have loved cyber school. What a shame. Someone commuting to school or work on a train packed to twice its capacity might carelessly think that commuting by boat would actually be pretty interesting and fun, but it sounds like it comes with its troubles of its own. You hear thoughtless tourists saying stuff like that all the time. I've had enough of island life. I really want to just graduate high school and say goodbye to this island. But there are all dorm schools, even for high school, right? Why'd you choose that Nijima school of all places? I wanted to go to one of those from the beginning, but Mom's always going on about how I need to learn manners and discipline as a successor. So I ended up sticking close to home, even for high school. Man, I hate this island. I just want to go live in the city. In a city. I don't care if rain or even spears fall from the sky. Okay. As long as I can move to a city where I can wear casual clothes and sandals. She just wants to wear socks and Crocs. Is that too much to ask? And I can get to a convenience store in less than 5 minutes. Ha ha ha. Hold out just a little longer. Just a bit more and you'll graduate from high school, right? Oh god, that sounds so ominous. After reading about all that sacrifice shit, I'm just so paranoid brained. These people are all gonna die. I can't wait a little longer. Aha! Jessica stretched out and reclined in the sofa. Maybe it was a bad time slot because there weren't any interesting programs on. And we had nothing to do but languidly kill time until we were called for dinner. After that episode, Maria never returned to the cousin room after all. Oh god. Aunt Rosa probably took her back to the mansion. It had to be pretty boring for Maria, all by herself while the adults had a confusing conversation about their dumb money shit and their, like, species speculation. We thought we might as well head over to the mansion to see her, but the weather really was awful. And since there wasn't much time until dinner, we stayed where we were. At that time, we heard the sound of a humble knock. Jessica answered, "Yes." "The preparations for dinner are complete. Please come to the mansion." It was Canon-kun's voice, who spied on the rest of the family. Did he go to all the trouble of coming from the mansion in this rain just to get us? Couldn't he have called us on one of the telephones? Well, I guess servants at work don't always get to take the most efficient route. Just when I was getting hungry. Let's go. George Anaki turned off the television and stood up. My stomach's been growling for a while. I've always been a huge fan of the main family's dinners, and didn't Goda-san say it was calf steak veal? I don't know, I'm not a vegan, but I feel like veal seems a bit too much. Our dinners are always even more fabulous than usual when the family conference comes around. Even I'm looking forward to it. Let's go, let's go. As we left the room, Canon-kun bowed silently and respectfully. I bet he's just totally freaking drenched. Because he hold up an umbrella in the typhoon, he's just gonna go flying like freaking Mary Poppins. Okay, let's go. Is the rain pretty nasty out there? Yes. Take care not to get your garments wet. What do you mean? It's pouring. After seeing the three of us out, Canon-kun peered into the empty room. Wasn't Maria-sama with you? Is she missing? Oh no. She might be missing. That's really freaking bad. No, she's not. Wasn't she with Aunt Rosa? This negligence is absolutely legendary. Rosa was lying on a sofa in the empty parlor, having fallen asleep before she knew it. She was bearing a burden that the children couldn't even imagine. That's why she only needed to let her guard down a little before the weariness immediately dragged her into a world of... What? Fuck her. She hit her kid. Realizing this, Genji brought a blanket over to her. When he tried to spread it over her, her eyes snapped open as though she'd been shocked with electricity. Ah! Thank you, Genji-san. When she realized that the thing that had touched her was just a blanket, and that Genji had been considerately giving it to her, she let out a sigh of relief. She's paranoid. I don't trust her. I don't trust any of these people, actually, now that I think about it. I don't want to drop my grapes. Holy shit. Oh, people are mad at Jesse Waters. Holy smokes. Did I wake you? My sincere apologies. No, it's okay. I hadn't planned on sleeping in the first place. What time is it now? When he was asked for the time, Genji checked a pocket watch he took out of his chest pocket. Chest pocket? Breast pocket. It's slightly after 6. Rosa gave her head a little shake when she realized that not much time had actually passed, even though it felt like she'd slept for ages. Even though she didn't feel like she feel rested at all, the drowsiness that had enveloped her must have been pretty deep. Thank you, I'll be fine without the blanket. I mustn't sleep at such a strange time. My sense of time has been completely thrown off. The rain has finally started pouring down in earnest, hasn't it? Rosa finally realized that the peaceful sound that had put her to sleep was actually the rain. The wind's blowing too hard. The wind's blowing hard too. Holy smokes. I wonder if the typhoon's finally here. That's what they said on TV. The typhoon is moving slowly. So they think it will be like this all day tomorrow. Really? So our last chance to see that wonderful rose garden must have already passed by. From the window, could what she could see of the rose garden was completely blurred by the wind and the rain. Oh, the wind and rain. Track change? Maria? That's right. What about Maria? Oh, she is missing. I'm right. It's all her freaking dumbass mom's fault. I have not seen her. Did she not return to the guest house? Rosa knew her daughter's nature well, so a chill ran down her spine. Maria was stubbornly honest, and if she was ordered to find something that didn't exist, she would look forever and ever. Maybe, okay, somebody told me yesterday that Maria was autism coded, and I'm really starting to see it. Even in the pouring rain, she could be sick. The cousins left before I did, so Maria was alone. Unless someone told her to stop, she'd stay there even if it started raining spears, without even opening an umbrella. How could I have lost control of my emotions and done such a thing? Because you're an awful human being, Rosa. It's really that simple. Even though she'd known about Maria's simple honesty better than anyone, she'd once again lost control of her emotions and done something terrible. Maria! Rosa pushed Genji away and ran down the hall. The outside really looked like a typhoon, and the rain was pouring down spectacularly. Maybe because of some aspect of the terrain, the winds weren't typhoon class, so an umbrella wouldn't be torn out of someone's hands. Even so, it certainly was a windy rain. There was no time to admire the roses being drenched. Anyway, I'm getting pretty worried about Maria. You don't think she's still rebelliously searching for that rose alone, do you? I wonder. Surely she wouldn't do it in this rain, or at least I wish I could believe that, but Maria-chan sometimes get really stubborn and intensely straightforward. And then they're gonna find her, it's gonna be like spooky and like some black magic shit happened. And she'll have the rose. Or like she'll be like unconscious, like with the rose. I don't know, I'm just making predictions. We hadn't worried much, thinking that Aunt Rosa had taken her back to the mansion. However, when Canon-kun had come from the mansion to call us and thought Maria was there, we got a little bit worried. I did not see her in the mansion, so I was sure she was here. After all, Rosa-sama was taking a nap. You didn't see her on your way over there? Here? My apologies. I opened my umbrella and ran as fast as I could. I did not pay much attention. If he had cut through the rose garden, taking the shortest line between the mansion and the guest house, and he would have just barely missed the place where Maria had been looking for her rose. And it was raining this hard, too. It certainly would have been possible for Canon-kun to fail to notice her. Instead of arguing around here, it'd be faster just to check it out directly. Aneki, why don't we race over there? Oh, do you think you can beat me now that you've been grown? This does not seem like the time to be making like wagers. Okay, let's settle this. Go! Hold up, give me a second. George, Anaki, and I flew out onto the rain. Jessica and Ken and Kun followed us. Maria! If you're there, answer me. Maria! It's Aunt Rosa. Hey, Aunt Rosa! When George Anaki called back, Aunt Rosa jumped at him and grabbed onto him. Where's Maria? Isn't she with you? No, we didn't meet Maria-chan after that. Maria! 6 years ago, Maria was 3 years old. Like, autistic children going to class like this is something that's very common. She was a cute and pure kid who'd just accept whatever anyone said. But 6 years have passed since then. She's 9 now and experiencing the ups and downs of life life should have taught her something. But Maria, are you telling me that you're still as innocent and pure as you used to be? Maria! As I circled the rose bed, something white unexpectedly turned to face me. It was a white umbrella. Maria was crouching down, holding a white umbrella, still searching for that rose. Ugh! Her face, which had turned bright red from crying her eyes out, was dirtied with water and mud. It was a truly pitiful sight. Okay, well, this wasn't that bad. Are you still looking? Ugh! Can't find it. Can't find my rose. Ugh! Maria had probably been here since the rain started pouring down. Her shoulders were freezing. She looked tired to the bone, but fortunately, since she was holding an umbrella, she wasn't completely soaked. The umbrella probably came from the handbag Maria. Damn, she's like fucking Inspector Gadget over here. Okay. Thank goodness. Seriously, thank goodness. Battler-kun, thank goodness you found her. Man, Duolingo is trying to beg me to come back to the app so bad. I quit Duolingo and it's just so freaking pissed at me. Battler-kun, thank goodness you found her. Maria! I'm sorry. Aunt Rosa threw her umbrella aside and hugged Maria. Ugh! It's not here. My rose isn't here. Just give up on the damn rose. I'll look for it with you later, okay? But just put it on hold for for today, okay? Put on hold for today. It looked like Maria still wasn't able to accept it, but she no longer had enough energy left to resist. Jessica and Cannon caught up with us. I'll have a towel ready in the mansion immediately. Maria, were you here this whole time? I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being such a bad mother. Aunt Rosa, why don't we head back to the mansion for the time being? If we stay here, Maria will catch a cold. Bro, the damage is already done. You're right. Maria, let's go. If we don't be cleaned up, Grandfather will be mad. Ugh! Hungry. It's already time to eat. You did a good job holding out, Maria. Once the weather gets better, we'll all go search together. We couldn't stay in the rain forever. We took Maria with us and headed back to the mansion. Maria apparently wasn't as worn out as I thought. Oh, I gotta ban somebody, shit. We love it. When she did remember we were having calf's veal for dinner, she started chanting, I'm hungry, ugh, and returned to her usual spirited self. Aunt Rosa didn't chide Maria for saying, ugh. It's definitely more of an ooh, but I don't know, I see. So she had an umbrella on her. Maria sure is good at packing the right stuff. Ugh. I didn't bring an umbrella. Oh! So where'd she get the umbrella from? What? Then how did you get that white umbrella you're holding? Ugh! I borrowed it! Oh, she borrowed it? From Beatrice. Dun, dun, dun. Some caring person must have brought her an umbrella. A normal kid would look for shelter once it started raining, but Maria was too stubborn to give up so easily. So maybe that caring person gave up on telling Maria to find shelter, then decided to at least give her an umbrella. I see. I'll have to thank that person. Who was it? Ugh! Beatrice! I'm right, oh my god. The name Maria cheerfully mentioned was that of the island's witch. Rosa took a deep breath and asked again, trying to do so. Why does my monitor keep doing this? Every now and again, one of my monitors, and it's a problem with the cables, it keeps shutting off. There we go. Rosa took a deep breath and asked again, trying to do so in a way that wouldn't damage Maria's good mood. Really? That's wonderful. So, who was it? Who brought you the umbrella? Ugh! Beatrice! Ugh! Maria immediately realized that her mother didn't believe her and started crying unhappily again. So Rosa stopped pursuing the subject. It'd probably be faster to ask whoever lent Maria the umbrella during dinner. Rather than ask Maria herself. Father, please at least join us for dinner. It won't be a family conference otherwise. Along with a dull pounding on the door, the sound of Krause's entreaty could be heard. However, the voice that seemed to be resigned to the fact that nothing it said would be heard. Kinzo-san, won't you at least come out for dinner? All your children have gathered here to see your face, haven't they? Silence, Nanjo. So the bishop won't work. Oh, they're playing chess. One move too short. Apparently, Kinzo was completely focused on the final battle of his long-lasting chess match with Nanjo. Kinzo's brow was wrinkled as he continued to glare at the game board through his spectacles. Krause's voice didn't reach his ears. Kinzo-san, I'm hungry myself. Why don't we go down and eat? Go by yourself if that's what you want. Let me consider this next move for a little longer. We are going to finish it tonight. I wonder if he dies tonight, then. I think it's one of those, like, ominous things. Otherwise, it's doubtful we'll finish before the world ends. Okay. Nanjo rose from his seat, hoping this would prompt Kinzo to do the same, but Kinzo's eyes never left the chessboard. He knew well that Kinzo always displayed a blind concentration when it came to chess. Not me. I'm the exact opposite. When I'm playing chess, I would rather just talk. Because to me, like, that's what chess is. It's just like a social game. But he'd never seen Kinzo concentrate as hard as this. It's almost though Kinzo was telling the truth, and there was never and there never would be another chance for them to continue their contest if they didn't finish tonight. How long has this chess game been going? I think this chess game's been going for 9 months. Or 12 months, at least. It seemed that no matter how obstinately he called out to Kinzo, it wouldn't reach the latter's heart. Nanjo gave up and headed to the door that Kraus was still banging on. The door to the study opened. Kraus was taken aback, thinking that maybe Kinzo was actually coming out. I think Kinzo's the type of guy that to switch the pieces around while Nanjo's gone. However, Nanjo was the one who appeared, and Kraus let out a sigh of relief. Dr. Nanjo, his father, I'm sorry I couldn't be of service. Right now, this room is Kinzo-san's whole world. Nanjo shook his head with a completely defeated expression. Kraus raised his fist once more and banged on the door, shouting, "Father, can you hear me? We're heading down now, but please join us anytime you feel like it. All of your children are waiting for you." His voice was very loud, and he was making a racket pounding on the door. There was no way it wouldn't reach Kinzo's ears. Well, it certainly was reaching him, but he ignored it anyway. However, unlike the time he'd called down for lunch, he didn't fly into a rage. By now, Kinzo was calm at heart, almost as though he had taken on a philosophical view and turned himself over to... Oh, yeah, he is dying tonight. Neither dinner nor the faces of my children interest me in the slightest. I will only leave here if Beatrice is resurrected, or if I am chosen as a sacrifice for the key. The demon's roulette has already started spinning. What meaning does dinner have at this point? Well, you gotta eat, bro. As though painfully loud banging on the door completely failed to enter his hearing, Kinzo silently thought about his next chess move, still in his philosophical state. Just as always, Kinzo's figure couldn't be seen anywhere in the dining hall. Do I have water? I have a little water. I'm so sorry I keep my water right next to my microphone. This is going to be loud. Mazel tov. Just as always, Kinzo's figure couldn't be seen anywhere in the dining hall. Kraus, wearing a bitter smile, returned with Nanjo. Father says he still is not feeling well. He truly regrets missing this once-a-year opportunity to sit together with his gathered family. Ava and Rudolph snickered. Given Kinzo's personality, there was no way he'd show signs of regret. And none of his relatives showed any regret at his absence. Then why don't we start dinner? Goda, begin. Certainly. Well then, if you will allow me. When Goda was told to start the family conference dinner, his biggest time to shine of the whole year, he nodded with a broad grin. May I ask who lent Maria an umbrella? When Rosa timidly cut through the silence of the dining hall, everyone noticed. An umbrella? What's this about? A short while back, Maria was in the rose garden when it started raining, and she apparently borrowed a white umbrella from someone. I wanted to thank them. It wasn't one of us. After you left, we moved to a different room and had a friendly chat the whole time. That's right. Even after that, the siblings had a real friendly chat. The word friendly fell awkwardly from Hideyoshi's lips, so even those who hadn't been present could tell the conversation hadn't been a pleasant one. At the very least, it couldn't have been me, Ava, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, or Kairi-san. We were together the whole time, even after Natsui Nisan and Rosa-san left. The whole time until the meal started. Nisan went up to the study with Genji-san to call father. At that time, the rest of us went straight to the dining hall, so it wasn't one of us. Couldn't it have been a servant kind enough to lend an umbrella? So it was you, Goda-san. I've been in the kitchen the whole time preparing. My sincere apologies. My sincere apologies. There we go. Goda looked slightly disappointed about missing the chance to show off. I'm cracking my knuckles. Oh my gosh. At that time, Shannon and Kumasawa appeared. I'm gonna crack my neck too. Jeepers. Youch. Pushing a servant cart loaded with hors d'oeuvres. Then what about Kumasawa-san or Shannon-chan? Yes? Has something gone wrong? Oh, she's like so sad. She immediately assumes like there's a problem and she's made a mistake. Mistakenly thinking that others were searching for the one responsible for some error. It isn't like that. It started to rain when Maria-chan was alone in the rose garden. After that, someone lent her an umbrella. Aunt Rosa said she wanted to thank that person. Ugh! Beatrice. Maria, her mouth a thin line, said the witch's name in a small voice. Aunt Rosa explained the situation one more time. As she did, Kumasawa-san cackled. Ha ha ha. It wasn't us. Shannon-san and I were preparing the rooms together, so we did not go outside. Yes. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be of assistance. Okay, so it's... The only other person it could have been was Cannon, because he actually went outside. Preparing the rooms? What do you mean by that? Because of the rain. We thought it would be troublesome for all the guests to return to the guest house. So the servants were ordered to prepare the guest rooms inside the mansion. I still do her voice, even though I don't feel like doing the other voices. She deserves a voice, because I really despise her. Alright. I have Ziggy Stardust stuck in my head right now. Really, how thoughtful. Yes, it certainly would be rude to chase us outside in this rain. Could you give it a rest? Yes. After receiving the order from Madame, Kumasawa-san, Kanen-kun, and I started preparing the rooms. Then it became time for dinner, so Genji-sama ordered Kanen-kun to go to the guest house and summon the children. Yes. So did Kanen-san find Maria on the way to the guest house and hand her the umbrella? Ugh! Wrong! I imagine that in Shea-Gorath's voice. Wrong! The person who actually received the umbrella denied it. Rosa was troubled. All she wanted to do was give a word of thanks to the person who had lent the umbrella, but she couldn't find them. And she thought asking like this, with everyone gathered for dinner, would work more immediately. And it was you, Natsui. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. After everyone's friendly chat, my headache was so bad I have been resting in my room. Therefore, I did not go outside. But who was it? George Coon and the kids? That can't be right. No, it wasn't us. We were watching television in the guest house the whole time. Ugh. Actually, we thought Maria had just gone back to the mansion with you. Yeah, we were watching Impractical Jokers. It was awesome. Then came and he asked whether Maria was with us. That's when we first realized she wasn't in the mansion. I mean, if it were me, I'd have grabbed her hand and pulled her under a roof before giving her an umbrella. Rosa was completely baffled. One by one, the relatives and the servants denied that they had done it, even though it really wasn't something anyone would need to hide. Thank you for telling me that. I don't know, sometimes this game feels a little overwritten to me, but I like the plot. Like, I feel like you could cut out a lot of writing in this. Like, this just goes without saying that nobody really has a reason to hide giving her an umbrella. So by process of elimination, the number of remaining candidates wasn't large. Of course it wasn't me. Right after it began raining, I visited Kizo-san's room and was playing chess with him until now. Which means that it also wasn't grandfather. Wait a sec. Isn't this starting to get a bit weird? Who's left? Then who was it? Genji-san? Huh? Wait a second, don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm searching for some culprit or anything. All I want to do is, as a mother, thank the person who gave Maria an umbrella in the middle of the rain. Giving an umbrella to a girl loitering in the rain is something to be praised, not hidden. Despite that, no one raised their hand. Why not? Everyone started whispering about how strange this was getting. Calm down, Rosa. Why don't we just ask the person who was lent the umbrella? That's what everyone had been thinking since the beginning. They were all scratching their heads at why she didn't just ask Maria, who had been given the umbrella. However, Rosa bit her lower lip. After all, she already knew how Maria would answer if asked. Of course, Rudolph-kun here got it right. Maria-chan, tell your uncle. Who lent you the umbrella? Beatrice! I love the little sound effect there, that's cute. The dining hall was wrapped in silence for an instant, but it was soon interrupted by a burst of laughter. Ha ha ha! I see, so Beatrice, the witch of the forest, felt pity and lent her an umbrella. What a lovely story. Rosa, there you have it. Rosa couldn't believe it. Even though she just wanted to say thanks for the umbrella, why did everything have to be so clouded in smoke? Ugh! Just like Uncle Kraus said, Beatrice, let me borrow it. Ugh! What does the umbrella look like? I want to see it. Ugh! Ha ha ha, isn't that wonderful? We should be jealous of such purity. What do you think, everyone? Ha ha ha. Kraus was laughing with a face that was clearly mocking. But Maria was overjoyed. Apparently convinced that her claim was being believed. How did that work? Does that mean a witch really appeared and lent her an umbrella? Jessica asked me in a small voice that wouldn't carry over to Maria, who was sitting across from me. Has Maria ever been the type to make jokes? If we'd heard that kind of story pop out of my old bastard's mouth, we could have just taken it as another joke. However, it was hard to explain it away like that when Maria said it. This was getting pretty unnerving. She just found the umbrella lying around. No way. She's always been frank and serious. She's the sort who believed any joke, even ones normal people could instantly tell were lies. I've never even heard of her cracking a joke. Aunt Rosa probably knew that better than anyone. It appeared that because of this weird situation, she had no idea what was going on anymore. I had to go put these grapes back in the fridge. I'll be back in like 30 seconds. This is some ominous music. Coca-Cola. I need to get like a new chair. I think it's well. I need something that's good for my posture because I just have the worst nerd neck, like slouch, hunchback ass posture. It's so bad. Jeez, I still think the whole Charlie Kirk thing is insane. So if Maria says she borrowed the umbrella from Beatrice, it must really mean it was Beatrice. We're talking about Maria here, so I can't think of it as some kind of metaphor or joke. It might be best to take what she says at face value. Then what's going on? Are you saying Genji-san or someone put on that fancy dress from the portrait and gave Maria the umbrella? I'm not sure about that. I think it's more likely that the witch is real than that. Actually, that's what I want to know. Jessica shrugged jokingly, but her expression didn't completely match her attitude. Once the hors d'oeuvres were set out and Godo showed off his vast store of knowledge, the meal began. A couple of casual chats broke out here and there, but they seemed somehow distant. And the meal ended up being so quiet that you couldn't ignore the sound of rain sneaking into the dining hall. Kumasawa and Shannon, pushing the serving cart, ran into Genji and Cannon on their way to the kitchen. Oh, it's Genji-san. Did you lend Maria-san an umbrella? An umbrella? What are you talking about? Well, I heard that when it started raining, Maria-sama was alone in the garden. It seems she borrowed an umbrella from someone there. But it seems we don't know who it was. It wasn't me. After all, I actually thought Maria-sama was in the guest house. When Battler-sama first found her, she was already holding a white umbrella. My apologies, but it was not me either. Then, could it actually be the master? Both in the dining hall and right here, everyone had stated that they hadn't done it. That only left Kinzo, but maybe he went walking down the corridor for some reason when he happened to see Maria-sama in the rose garden without even an umbrella. The master is not particularly fond of Maria-sama. I agree. I can't imagine that for Maria-sama's sake, he'd go to all the trouble of descending the stairs with an umbrella, and then nobody notices. This is like where shit starts getting interesting. Oh my, how troublesome. Does this mean the one who lent Maria-sama an umbrella was really Beatrice-sama? Ha ha ha. Kumasawa laughed, just like the relatives in the dining hall who had laughed it off. She couldn't think of any other way to break through the smoke veiling the current situation. Just then, the crisp sound of hands clapping twice ran through the hallway. They all turned at once to see Goda coming out of the dining hall. He gives me the creeps. Okay, everyone. When serving a dinner, proper timing while setting the table is essential. Please immediately see to the setting out the soup. Genji-san, the women are in the middle of an important job, so please don't get in their way. Ellipses. Canon glared at Goda for being rude to Genji, a person Kanon respected. Genji, realizing this, patted Kanon once on the shoulder as a warning. Kanon reluctantly turned away and returned his expression to normal. Obey Goda's instruction. Hurry and prepare the dinner table. Come now, there's no time. Don't dawdle. Hurry! Goda grabbed the serving cart from Shannon and steadily pushed it towards the kitchen. Then please allow us to return to the kitchen. After all, Goda-san's temper is very short. I always give them that, like, Ben-ass laugh. Yes? Ben? That's literally all I'm doing. They still haven't caught the guy. That's so crazy. Please excuse me as well. Kumasawa and Shannon left. Only Genji and Kanon remained. Through the window, the darkness of the rainy night could be seen, along with the occasional thunderbolt. Genji-sama, did Beatrice-sama really return? I don't know. Shall I inform the master? That is not necessary. If she truly has returned, she will eventually appear before the master of her own accord. Furthermore, she's a fickle person. It would be pointless to report to the master, only to find that she does not appear. I wonder if this means the master's ceremony has already begun. Probably. However, that has nothing to do with the furniture like us. Why do they all just have no... Okay, I already asked that. We must continue to return the favor we received from the master until our final moments. There's gonna be like some crazy ass blood sacrifice in this game, I swear. Yes. That is furniture's duty. Oh, that was a big one. The thunder crashed once more. Except for those instants when lightning lit up the sky, nothing could be seen out the window but the darkness of night. Oh, this is awesome. Just as humans rule when the sun is up, those that are not human rule when the sun is down. That's some, like, primordial shit. The darkness of night that now surrounded Rokenjima was ruled by another master, not the Ashiramiya family. Did this master take pity on Maria when she was alone and being pummeled by the rain in the rose garden, lending her an umbrella? Kanon looked at the rose garden's lights, dimly visible beyond the window. The dim lights weren't enough to illuminate the surrounding area. Looking at those lights felt like making eye contact with the witch, and Kanon forced himself to avert his gaze. If he didn't, it felt like his eyes would be absorbed by the light. Can the weather change how people act? You often hear stories about how things like atmospheric pressure can influence people's moods and physical health. For some time now, everyone had been struggling to clear the gloomy atmosphere, but any conversation was quickly cut off, and in the end, the dining hall was simply filled with the sound of the rain. Dessert was some kind of chocolate cake, accompanied by a pear sherbet. Goda-san enthusiastically explained the recipe as soon as the final dish was presented, but I quickly forgot the details. The guest of honor, grandfather, was absent, the weather was horrible, and the identity of one who'd lent Maria an umbrella remained a mystery. When the dinner ended, no one felt one bit refreshed. It was too late now, but I realized painfully that the taste wasn't the only important part of the meal. The whole atmosphere was also critical. Goda-san, The supposed conductor of this musical piece called Dinner did his best to enliven the place, dropping little jokes left and right, but apparently not one of them succeeded. Maybe it's just because he's not funny. I don't know. After taking orders for an after dinner coffee, tea, and orange juice, he left for the kitchen. As soon as he disappeared, Uncle Kraus spoke. My, what a waste on that dinner Goto worked so hard to create has met with such a gloomy atmosphere. Yes, absolutely. It just feels nothing would taste good today. Huh. I'd like to know why you feel that way. Later on, I'll do all I can as your older brother to help cheer you up. Aunt Grava, Aunt Grava, Aunt Ava grimaced slightly. I'd already heard she wasn't on good terms with Uncle Kraus, but it was pretty clear now. When I looked around, I noticed that my father and Aunt Rosa were also grimacing. Apparently, there was something besides the weather troubling all of them. Yeah, it was that freaking terrible deal they cracked. But Aunt Ava and my dad aren't looking too happy. Really? I don't think so. I asked Aunt Natsuhi, who was sitting on my right, but she seemed to be in a bad mood as well. She snapped back as to say she was absolutely not interested. Well, our adult conversation got a little complicated. It isn't something kids like you need to worry about, Battler Kun. Ha ha ha. Isn't that right, Natsuhi? Kairi. Uncle Hideyoshi laughed as he spoke, but without his usual brightness. So I could vaguely imagine just how complicated their adult conversation had become. On top of that, even Aunt Natsuhi and Kairi-san, the people who had directed his comment, ignored him as though they hadn't heard anything. I didn't know what kind of conversation they'd been having while us kids were away, but it seemed to remind me it. But it reminded me of how Dad said he had his stomach cramps when he arrived at the mansion. The family conference might have actually been a playful reunion to us kids, but it was definitely different for the adults. After Uncle Hideyoshi comment was ignored by the other adults, and an awkward silence fell over the room, Kairi spoke up. Oh my god, she's lying. We were talking about how the kids' careers would turn out, such as what lies in your future, Butler Coon. Will you just drift on to college? Wouldn't that be a little disheartening as a starting line for a... Wouldn't that be a little disheartening as a starting line for the long race of... Okay, what... Does she not like college? Hey, wait a sec. Kyrie, if you start talking about something like that in the middle of a meal, it won't digest well. We'll all end up getting constipated. That's so real. That is so real. That's blisteringly real. Wahahaha. That's right. That's right. We were talking about Battler Kun and Jessica Chan's careers. You've got you've got to think seriously about the future. Wahaha. Hideyoshi heartily agreed as if he really had been talking about that, but it but that was probably wrong. Kairi-san had obviously been trying to change the subject. However, if Kairi-san had determined that this were the best course of action for now, then she probably was right. Taking this into account, I cast aside my suspicions as to the cause behind Aunt Ava and Dad's bad moods. At long last, the serving cart returned, filled with coffee and tea. Kumasawa-san and Shannon-chan served it to everyone. Goda-san then explained that this concluded tonight's meal. If only the mood had been a bit more cheery, it might have been the best dinner of my life. It was a shame this best of dinners couldn't have been had under the best conditions. Ugh. George, Oni-chan, is dinner over now? Over? Yes. With this, dinner is finished. Don't be rude. Stay in your seat and calmly drink up. Ugh. Maria looked like she was really excited by the occasionally crashing thunder. Maybe she wanted to quickly finish eating and run over to the window. She had been fidgeting for a while, waiting for the meal to end. Some people are afraid of thunder, while others find it interesting, and Maria was apparently one of the latter sort. Therefore, when she heard from George Anaki that dinner was over, a huge smile broke across her face. She then rose from her seat, took out her handbag, which she'd set under his seat, never having left it while she was eating, and began fishing around inside of it. No one seemed particularly concerned by this behavior. What's that? Where did you get it? George was the first to notice it. As he spoke, Badler noticed it too. Ooh! This is interesting. Okay, we love this. This is a little mysterious here. A letter probably from Beatrice. Holy shit. They saw that Maria was now holding a beautiful Western style envelope. On the front edge of the envelope, the Ushiramiya family crest, the one-winged eagle, was done in gold leaf. Furthermore, the fact that it sealed with dark red wax made it clear that this wasn't something Maria could have done as a prank. Maria-chan, what is that? It seemed that Natsuhi had also noticed the strangeness of the envelope Maria was holding. Her voice sounded too serious for someone admonishing a small child, so the relatives around us finally noticed too. What happened, Natsui? What is that? Maria, where did you pick that up? That envelope is Kinzo-san's. When Nanjo muttered that even us kids could understand why everyone seemed to be frozen solid. The envelope that Maria held was one of the Ashiramiya family's head's custom-made envelopes for private use. In other words, it only could mean one thing. This envelope contained a message from Kinzo. Oh, what is an envelope like that doing here? Now that's an interesting thing to come jumping out at us. Just let me have a peek. Ugh, no way, I'll read it. I was told to read it to everyone. Uncle Hideyoshi tried to snatch the envelope out of Maria's hands, but she protected it as though hugging it and didn't let go. Hideyoshi-san, you can't use force against a child. Maria-chan, where did you get this envelope? Ugh, I got it from Beatrice when she gave me the umbrella. She told me to read it to everyone after the meal was over. I'm the witch's messenger. Ugh. Why is messenger in less than greater thans? The almighty witch of the island sure likes to mess around. Maybe it's, I don't know. I wonder what's written inside of it, Maria-chan. Ugh! Gonna read it! Ugh! Maria casually opened the envelope. It was sealed only with wax, so she had to remove it by removing this. I don't think I've ever opened like a wax sealed envelope. That would probably be weird as fuck. Hold on, I'll be back in like 10 seconds. I had to get some Tums. The wax fell onto the desk. Hideyoshi hastily picked up and stared at fixing away at it. It's literally in this room. I'm just like getting up and walking. I should maybe not have drank Coke. My indigestion's so bad right now. I'm suffering. It's miserable. Hideyoshi hastily picked it up and stared fixedly at it. Ooh, that's some like ASMR. We love that. I'm gonna keep those by my desk. Hideyoshi Silly picked it up and stared fixedly at it. Ugh, sorry about that. He set it in the center of the table where Natsuhi, Kairi, and Nanjo stared at it. Imprinted on the sealing wax was the one-winged eagle, which was the Ishiramiya family crest and also Kinzo's personal crest. What color was the seal? I don't know, that's like usually something's that like important. This is the family head's personal crest. I know it from the letters I've received from Kinzo-san before. Without a doubt, this is his wax seal. But aren't there several things in this mansion bearing that crest? For example, if there was some kind of stamp for wax seals, couldn't someone other than Kinzo have used it? Oh yeah, he has a signet ring. I guess they're... No, Kinzo-san would always use a ring on his finger, his proof of the Ushiramiya family headship when he sealed the wax. This shape and complex design is definitely Kinzo-san's seal. That is not necessarily so. Anyone in the family must have received a letter from father at least once. We can't eliminate the possibility that someone used that wax as a model to create a fake seal and pass themselves off as father. In this case, Beatrice. I agree with Aniki. No matter how much the seal resembles Dad's, we can't prove that it's the real thing. So it doesn't prove this envelope came from him. I absolutely agree. I cannot approve of arbitrarily deciding that this letter came from father, based solely on the wax seal. Dr. Nanjo, couldn't you use a bit more discretion with your vague words? I apologize. It was not my place to speak. One after another, all the siblings from Kraus on downwards rejected Nanjo's statement, saying that the envelope Maria held wasn't necessarily from Kinzo. They were afraid. They feared from the bottom of their hearts that Kinzo's intentions were written in there, and that it might be some announcement regarding the inheritance that would be decidedly unfavorable to them. Maria, the person who gave you that envelope was the same person who lent you the umbrella, right? Ugh. I don't know what ugh means. Is it true? Ugh. Yes. Ugh. So in other words, the witch, Beatrice, gave Maria-chan the envelope along with the umbrella. Ugh. Maria nodded forcefully. I agree with my husband. I agree with my husband. It's a dubious letter handed over by some suspicious person. It isn't even worth reading. There's nothing wrong with just reading it, right? Battler said it to Jessica in a small voice, trying to act tough, but Natsuhi heard him clearly and glared at him with threatening eyes. And then, Beatrice told you to read it after the meal was over, right, Maria? Ugh. It's okay, everyone. This envelope didn't come from grandfather, but from Beatrice. Regardless of who actually wrote it, why can't we just hear what's inside before we decide? Yeah, exactly. Let's at least hear what they have to say. That's right. Even if father didn't necessarily write it, I'd still like to know what's written inside. Maria-chan, I'm sorry I tried to take it from you by force earlier. I apologize. So will you read it aloud in front of everyone? And that's it. I think it'd be really funny if it just used like a bunch of big words that she couldn't pronounce. That'd be fucking hilarious. Maria, Read it. Ugh! As all the relatives stared fiercely at Maria, she spread the letter open with a rustle. Do you think it really come from Dad? Impossible. Whenever Father had announced something to us in the past, he would always send Genji if he didn't do it directly, correct? I cannot believe that he would use such a joke-like approach. That's right. Oh, do I hear like a clock? Oh, I do. We love that. That's right. Maria, a messenger? That definitely doesn't suit Father's tastes. Rosa, could this be Maria-chan trying to surprise us by putting some kind of show? Maria isn't really a kind to be capable of something so thoughtful. Gonna read it. Ugh. The words come out of Maria's mouth, but for some reason her voice seemed different than usual. Oh my god, she's like having like a like in Skyrim, the Boethia quest, where you kill like some random follower and then Boethia like speaks from the dead body. That's what's gonna happen. Listen. Or imagine it's just gonna be like Meridia. Like, listen, hear me and obey. A something has defiled my temple. That'd be great. We'd love it. Someone suddenly went silent. Okay, here we go. This is not the music score I was expecting. This is not the music. Okay. Welcome to Rokenjima, members of the Oshiromiya family. I am Beatrice, the alchemist for this family employed by Kinzo-sama himself. Ha, that's crazy. Quiet. I have served him for many years in accordance with our contract, but on this day, Kinzo-sama has announced the final suspension of that contract. Therefore, I ask that you acknowledge my resignation from the position of family alchemist from this day forth. How foolish. What nonsense. I can't stand to listen to it. And now, there's one part of the contract that must be explained to all present. I, Beatrice, lent Kinzo-sama a vast quantity of gold under certain terms. One of these terms specifies that all the gold is to be returned to me upon the termination of the contract. Furthermore, I'm to receive everything of the Oshiromiya family as interest. Ridiculous! It's been ridiculous from the very beginning. So it's basically one of those things, right? Doesn't it sound just like one of those contracts with the devil? Yeah, we call that a Faustian bargain. The contract's like expired, but they've come to collect the interest. Is he trying to grab some retirement money for her old age or something? What a cheeky witch. Bettler-kun, now isn't the time to joke around. Bettler made a face as if to ask, if I can make fun of this, what can I make fun of? Some of the adults' faces were pale, while the others looked dazed. After hearing this, you may feel as though Kinzo-sama has been savagely ruthless. However, Kinzo-sama did append a special clause to the contract so that you would have a chance to preserve your wealth and honor. If and only if that special clause is fulfilled, I will lose my rights to the gold and the interest for all eternity. A special clause? What is it? Special clause. Beatrice retains the right to collect the gold and accumulated interest upon the termination of the contract. However, if someone is able to discover the hidden gold of this contract, Beatrice must abandon these rights for all time. The collection of the interest will proceed shortly, but if any one of you fulfills the terms of this special clause, I shall return everything, including the portion that has already been collected. Furthermore, as the first step in this collection of Kinzo-sama's debt, I have already taken possession of the Oshiromiya family. Oh, he threw the ring out the window! That's right! That's crazy. Here we fucking go. Which signifies the passage of the Oshiromiya family's headship from one individual to another. I ask that you confirm this for yourselves by examining the imprint on the wax seal. Are they trying to claim that that's the meaning behind the seal? That father would relinquish his ring is unthinkable. Kraus stared at the sealing wax as if trying to burn a hole through it. Ava and Rudolph were doing the same over his shoulder. Come to think of it, when we were playing chess, I did have a strange feeling that something was missing from Kinzo-san's finger. Dr. Nanjo! Dr. Nanjo! Don't say something so careless just because of a vague memory. This is wild. We can't prove its authenticity here. Only by asking Father directly can we determine whether he handed over his ring and whether this letter tells the truth. That's right. It's also true that a servant took the ring and forged the letter. That's also very, very possible, but I doubt it. That's right. It's just as Kairi says. Do you really think Kinzo-san would tell you? After all, that person's thoughts sometimes surpass the bounds of common sense. No matter what happens, it's still nonsense. In the first place, the illusion of gold itself is one of Father's tricks. I've already heard enough talk of that gold from the rest of you. But this is the witch speaking, right? About how the inheritance and all the assets will be handed over to the one who finds the gold, right? So maybe Beatrice-sama is Father's legal advisor or in charge of his funds. We can't possibly trust some strange person who entrusts such suspicious paper to a child. Anaki, we need you to be frank with us. Is it possible that dad's assets are being managed by someone you don't know? No, that's impossible. As the family's head representative, I control all of Father's assets. It should be impossible for anyone to do as they please without me knowing. So this must mean there are some assets you don't control, right, Kraus? How foolish! Such assets could not possibly exist. Oh, but there is such a thing. An asset of Father's that you don't control. There is no way such a thing could exist. No, it does. It's Father's, no, Beatrice's hidden gold. Let's keep it simple. In short, Dad had trusted some confidant that Anaki doesn't even know about. Furthermore, this person has always been in charge of watching and managing the gold. Or it could be some eccentric, rich person who offered him a loan with rules like a devil's contract. Could it be that this confidant called Beatrice is trying to test which of Kinzo's children is most worthy to be financed by her gold? Kairi's question was one that all her siblings wanted answered. Upon reflection, they realized that Kinzo's strange epitaph had hung the wall beneath the witch's portrait for quite some time. While it had long been whispered that whoever solved the puzzle would receive everything, no one had ever clearly stated it. It was just something that everyone hoped might be true. And right here, right now, the best thing they'd hoped for had clearly been stated in Beatrice's letter. It clearly specified that everything of the Ashiramiya family would be given to the one who found the gold. Kinzo-sama has already publicly displayed the location of the hidden gold within the epitaph under my portrait. The rules apply equally to all who can read the epitaph. If you discover the gold, I shall return everything to you. Tonight, I ask that you enjoy your battle of wits with Kinzo-sama to the fullest. I sincerely pray that this night will be both intellectual and elegant. Beatrice the Golden. Oh, is that a tip? Did we get a tip? Tip? We got a tip. Let's go. We love tips. Why is this song actually really good? I'm actually kind of bumping to this. Father, I know you can hear me. Please respond. The door to Kinzo's study was being violently, harshly beaten against over and over again like a percussion instrument. The yells coming from the other side belonged to Kraus, Rudolph, and sometimes Ava. It was the siblings who were trying to intrude upon Kinzo's study to question him about the truth behind that mysterious letter. Kinzo was eating. An elegant tablecloth was set over the desk, and the fabulous dinner that he had adorned the table down the dining hall was reproduced here. Kinzo continued his meal in silence. Dude is unfazed. Shannon, taking away an empty plate, looked uncomfortably between the door being pounded on in Kinzo's face. Everyone is calling for you. What should I do? Leave them. God and my meals both hold silence as a virtue. Should I silence them? There's no need. It does not even reach my ears. He's unfazed. The lion does not give children their inheritance money. The lion makes Faustian bargains with Mephistopheles. There's no need. It does not reach my ears. Kinjo enjoyed his food, apparently indifferent. He thinks this is funny. I guarantee you he's getting a kick out of this. Genji quietly lowered his head and took a single step back. Give the man his absinthe, too. I think he needs to chase the green fairy at least a little bit. As he did, Cannon, who stood in reserve like a shadow behind into the side of Genji, opened his mouth. Oops, where is my... There it is. Maria-sama apparently received a letter from Beatrice-sama, so I imagine that they want to test its authenticity. Has she started already then? Come, Beatrice. I have no shortage of coins to be wagered. Shall we enjoy this night to the fullest? I don't think I'll lose. Your smile will be mine for all eternity. If I could see it one more time, I wouldn't regret losing my wealth, honor, or even my life. Well then, the roulette has begun to spin. Which pocket will the ball fall into? Noir, rouge, or house takes all? Come, you may begin, Beatrice. I'll show you the power of miracles once more. This is getting interesting. Like, honestly, this is actually getting really interesting. The strange letter that the witch had entrusted to Maria wiped all the memories of dinner from our minds. Maria was repeatedly barraged with questions by Aunt Rosa and the other parents, and became increasingly ill-tempered when they refused to believe her. If we kids tried to butt in, they'd probably ignore us. Oh shit, I gotta plug in my phone. I'll be right back. My phone's gonna die. One thing about me that's like particularly weird, I suppose, is that I don't keep my phone. I don't keep a phone charger by my desk or by my bed. And I think it's literally just like a weird, just it's just like a weird. There's no way reason I should be doing it, but I do it anyways. Ooh, I just did a good Maria. That was totally holistic. I love it. Oh, did they catch the shooter? Hold up. Holy shit, Twitter is chugging right now. Or is my internet bad? No, I mean, my internet should be fine. No, the manhunt's still going. This is the craziest freaking news day in a long time. If we kids tried to butt in, they'd probably ignore us. Our parents were all stirred up, firing back and forth about the gold and the distribution of the assets and completely forgetting about where they about that we were even there. I'd already guessed they'd been talking like this in the shadows. Well, that means they all just need to start a big like one piece ass freaking like they need to start looking. It gave us all of us kids a considerable shock. I don't think that adults are going to be any freaking use in finding this gold. Are you Adults have zero whimsy and are unable to find anything. I really trust these kids. They're gonna freaking solve this whole ass mystery without any of the adults' help. And Kraus is obviously a bad guy. Fuck Kraus. From what we could, Kraus is gonna be like the type of asshole when I predict Battler will find the gold. It'll be like, oh, like he gets there like it'd be like something out of like the second they find the gold, he's like there. He's like, actually, this is my gold, and then he takes it. That's my prediction. From what we could overhear, all the parents wanted more money as soon as possible. Back and forth about grandfather's inheritance. Back and forth about the distribution of the gold if it was found. About the advance payments and cash. It was so despicable. I could hardly bear to watch it, even though one of them was my father. It looked like Jessica felt the same way. We left our seats without being asked to and went to hang out somewhere well away from our parents. I get it. Now I totally see why grandfather hates coming down for meals. I'm so disillusioned with our parents right now. Speak for yourself. All about the money and the inheritance. Well, I think it's pretty fair to be concerned about this, to be fair. My dumbass isn't finding treasure. How can they act like this out in the open? I always think about that Ragnar Lothbrok quote. How the little pigs would squeal if they knew how the old boar suffered. Well, I'm already completely disillusioned with my old bastard. There's no way I could think any worse of him. I really freaking relate with their with his other son dynamic. I really relate with that shit. That's exactly the same for me. Still, that freaking shocked me. Shocked me to the core. Jessica looked down at the floor, irritated. She always was always talking about how bad her parents were, but maybe she hadn't really felt that way deep inside. The depths of Jessica's shock made that clear. This guy's so chill. He has his degree. He's got he like he's just a he's about to get hired. Like this guy's successful. He's smart. Unlike his dad, he's not going to be like threatened by a hostile takeover of his restaurant management firm. I feel like George is like like George doesn't even need this money. George is gonna be here just like for fun and shits and giggles. Like I don't really think he cares. Also, can I say I think out of all the fits, George has like the worst style. This whole fit is just so. It's just a panoply of just shit and bad. Black shirt, white tie is already brave, but then he goes brown vest, yellow freaking suit pants. He looks like the man in the yellow hat. It's so bad. Fashion police must arrest George Aniki for crimes against fashion. This was the 80s. Imagine if Jessica had 80s hair. That would be so good. There's not enough. Okay, I'm not even going to get into it. It's a whole thing. You're all minors being supported by your parents, so you might not understand, but getting money is neither simple nor a pretty thing. I won't. Yeah, you wages wouldn't understand. I won't try to force you to understand right now since you're still kids, but even so, I want you to realize that your parents are just doing their best in their own way. Oh, great. George Aniki's gotten all mature. George Nissan, I know you're working hard as a full-fledged member of society, but does that really mean you turn into a shameless, greedy vulture, but like our parents when you start talking about money and assets? If you were talking about my own benefit, then no, I wouldn't do that. However, oh, I think he just pushes up his glasses and they like shine. God, I love George. Is like George is so he. This isn't even a big issue for him. However, when you find your family and your employees, your subordinates and their family are all counting on you, there are some times when you must fight. Well, plus they all discovered that the rug's about to be pulled under them. I would be really mad if I didn't get $100 million. I hate that kind of fight. That back and forth about grandfather's inheritance just makes me want to puke. Jessica pretended to spit violently. That's the sound she makes. That harsh reaction made the depths of her very pain clear. Let's stop talking about this. All this about grandfather's hidden gold, property, inheritance is our parents' problem, not ours. I agree. At the very least, I think children have a duty to be considerate and stay out of their parents' way when they're talking together. Sounds pretty boring. Everyone knows the phrase, adults are filthy. I don't know that one, but okay. But we had now seen that for ourselves, and they really did give us a considerable shock. George Aniki was now pretty much an adult, and I'd already been disillusioned with my dad, so the shock wasn't that big for us. But Jessica seemed to be taking it hard. Apparently, she'd received a bigger blow than I'd thought. She always talks badly about her parents, but it looks like she hadn't changed at all on the inside. Even now, she's still a pure-hearted, delicate person who can't doubt others. I'm sure she respected her parents as much as anyone else does. And then her parents started raging about money, inheritance, my money. Right in front of all the other parents and the children. It's no surprise she received such a shock from hearing that. Jessica-chan, please don't start hating your mother and father. I won't ask you to understand them, but at least don't hate them. I get it. Just leave me alone for a bit. 6 years ago, I would have kept taunting Jessica, even though after she got all dejected. But I guess I really have grown over the last 6 years. I realized it'd be better to leave Jessica alone right now. Jessica suddenly looked away sulkily and left the parlor. She probably wanted to be alone for a while. This is dark. Okay. I could do nothing but wordlessly watch her back as she left. Come to think of it, I wonder where Maria went. She's probably pouting in front of the portrait. Maria truly looked up to witches, and she'd expected that coming in direct contact with Beatrice and receiving the letter as proof would surprise everyone and make them happy. However, the adults had doubted its authenticity, thoroughly bombarding Maria with questions and refusing to accept her story. Even for me, it wasn't hard to imagine how that must have hurt Maria. Well, what? Yeah, they freaking probably ambushed her. We couldn't speak to Maria or Jessica. In the end, George and I just abandoned ourselves to the sound of the falling rain and the dark night. I wonder what's happening with that typhoon. Maybe there's something about it on the news. I don't like this. I feel like something's about to happen. Like something more. Like that clicking clock sound, like, I don't know. George Aniki started walking over to the corner of the parlor where the television was. He hadn't called me over, and I really couldn't have cared less where the typhoon was on the sea now. So without going over to the television, I loitered around the window. The wind hasn't picked up much here, but I wonder if it's still horrible over the sea. I did hear about a severe storm warning on the weather report. Holy shit, she listens to weather report? She loves jazz. She loves jazz. Ah, Kairi-san. I take it those big talks between the adults are going smoothly, yeah? She seemed to catch the sarcasm. Kairi-san shrugged. I wonder if that stomachache of discussion will continue all night. It's not going to be fun. Well then, please enjoy playing vultures to grandfather's property as much as you'd like. I feel sick. I'd agree with you on that. If I could just slip away like you, I'd do it. Unfortunately, I can't. Even if I'm not allowed to speak. We spouses have it pretty rough too. Kairi-san took a deep breath, smiling bitterly. That's right. They probably wouldn't let Kairi-san speak, since she only married into the family. Still, as Dad's partner, she had no choice but to stay by his side and support him. She probably had to bear the full brunt of his mental pressure much more than me. I wasn't going to apologize, but realizing that I'd spoken too harshly, I cut the sarcasm for the time being. So how does it look? Are they still stuck on the topic of the mysterious witch, Beatrice? More or less. Those four siblings are always piling up secret agreements when they come together to discuss the division of grandfather's inheritance. They're saying that some unknown fifth person has appeared and is trying to make things even more complicated. And there's no way that'll make for a peaceful conversation. Just when you think they're snarling at each other, they'll set up a common front. Natsuhi's not the only one getting headaches. Blah, 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 blah. Reading is tough. Reading is tough, in fact. On the one hand, they all want a larger portion than the other siblings, so they're all rivals. But on the other hand, they don't want 1 yen to be snatched up by anyone other than the siblings, so they're all allies. Well, it sounds... Well, whoever's going to find the wealth is going to get all the money, so they can, like, sit there and politic all they want about, like, division and all that bullshit, but it's all going to go to whoever finds the money, so they should just stop wasting their time. It seems like it's not on the island, though, so I just wonder about the pacing of this. I hadn't been told the details, but the siblings were apparently discussing how to protect their shares under various situations. Setting up ceasefire agreements and rules to prevent anyone from getting an unfair advantage, even resorting to legal action if absolutely necessary. That they would go this far to preserve their shares was so beyond disgusting that you just had to acknowledge their resilience. So basically, Beatrice is like an assassin sent by grandfather. He probably wanted to scare the hell out of his children for talking about the inheritance without him. Who is this Beatrice, I wonder? If everything she claims is true, then she's a mystery figure that no one knew about until today. And she also knows about grandfather's hidden gold. On top of that, she was entrusted with the head's ring. She must truly have been trusted by him. Well, obviously, I don't think she's a witch riding around on a broom. But there's no doubt she's a mysterious person who earned the right to be called a witch. If only Maria-chan would go into more detail about that. Everyone's been smothering her, even though she's just a little girl. It really scared her. And some things they might have asked now can't be asked. I wonder if those people have ever read The North Wind and the Sun. What's that? Hold up. The North Wind and the Sun. Oh, it's Aesop's Fables. I wouldn't know. Okay. What we do know is that Maria received a letter from a person who took the name Beatrice. She sure is shy for a mystery person, entrusting Maria with a letter and hiding away even now, when she couldn't just appeared and talked to us directly. Hey, Battler-kun? Do you really think a person called Beatrice actually exists? Who knows? Doesn't it really seem like a false name? Like, she's grandfather's representative, so she was given permission to take the name of the witch from his delusions? No, that's not what I meant. Right now, there's a total of 18 people here on Rokonjima. Do you think there's a 19th person? Is there... Wait. 4... 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. Are there really a full 18 people on this island right now? Damn, I didn't remember the pachinko sprites. I don't know what you mean by, like, pachinko sprites. Were they, like, using them for, like, pachinko games? Like the, like, not like Peggle, but, like, I don't know. I don't know anything about this game. Like, I'm going in completely spoiler-free. All I saw is that, like, Joseph Anderson played it, and he really liked it, and I wanted to give it a try. Wondering about that, I began counting on my fingers. Oh, they're just called that. Okay. Wondering about that, I began counting on my fingers, and it really didn't come out to that many. I think that a 19th person exists. People hate them a lot compared to the PS3 ones. Huh. Just what I said. The person who lent Maria that umbrella supposedly wasn't one of us 18. What I do like that the narrative does here, though, I like it how it's very explicitly clear that there's no possibility that anyone could have given Maria the umbrella. Like, I think that's cool. So isn't it natural to assume that a 19th person exists? And that this person lent Maria the umbrella? Well, yeah, it sure looks that way. And where is this person now? At the very least, she must have been on the island when it started raining. And ever since that time... Oh yeah, the original sprites have a lot more facial animations. Yeah, I looked at the old sprites. Wait, where are they? Like these ones. I don't really prefer any like either one. These ones kind of give me some like early like 2000s nostalgia. That's kind of why I like them. They're both kind of goofy for different reasons. And ever since that time, the weather has been growing progressively worse, so taking a boat out would be pretty much impossible. Hiding from the rain. In that case, that person must still be on the island, hiding from the rain somewhere. And without any of us spotting her. True. We've all been randomly prowling around all over the mansion and the guest house, but no one has bumped into a 19th person. But this island is huge. I think I said it's like 20 square miles or something. I forget. I think I'm getting that twisted. Never mind. There might be other places that take shelter from the rain other than the mansion and the guest house. At about this time, I begin to realize what direction Kairi-san's suspicions were taking us in. Kairi was denying that a 19th person existed. Beatrice was one of us 18. In other words, she thought someone we knew well was tricking us. Well, I mean, that makes much more sense. If Beatrice is who she claims, she surely would be one of the most honored of guests. The most honored of the confidants, trusted by Grandfather. There's no way Grandfather wouldn't give that kind of person a warm reception. She would surely have been ushered into the mansion. However, we haven't seen anyone like that. Wait a sec. Isn't this line of reasoning just a bit too hasty? Surely no one spotted this person, but that doesn't mean you can deny the possibility that a 19th person exists, right? Maybe for some reason they landed on the island and have been hiding ever since. It's what they call a devil's proof. It's easy to prove that something exists. If this Beatrice appears in front of us all and says hi, then it's settled. But it's impossible to prove there's no 19th person. So what she's just saying is that they can't prove it or disprove it. Yes. Battler-kun, your way of reasoning isn't bad. In our current situation, there isn't enough information to either accept or... Yeah, okay. But if you spin the chessboard around and think that way, we can deny the existence of a 19th person with near certainty. Spin the chessboard around was one of Kairi's favorite phrases. I've been influenced by those words and used them myself from time to time. When you get stuck trying to find a move in chess or shogi, then by spinning the board around and looking at everything from your opponent's standpoint, you can often see a strategy that'll give you the upper hand. It means turning things around and putting yourself in your opponent's shoes. You see? Let's say that a 19th person called Beatrice actually exists. That person must have managed, without being seen by anyone, to stealthily arrive on this island and remain hidden ever since. Maybe that they had some reason, okay? In that case, why did they go to all the trouble of appearing before Maria and handing her the letter? Because Maria, like many young children, is magical, and she's like summoning Satan and shit. It's like such a preteen girl thing. It really was a contradiction. If they had some reason for hiding themselves, then they should have stayed hidden the whole time. But even so, they appeared openly in front of Maria. Then, wait, Maria said it herself. She said the witch gave her made her a messenger in. I wonder what this is about. I wonder if this is because it's translating. If this is how it's in Japanese too. That's like my only guess. Maybe that's because Maria was the youngest and looked the most obedient. Why would they need a messenger? If they just wanted the letter delivered to the family conference, they could have just mailed it. If they mailed it to each of the 4 siblings, no one would be able to ignore it. There was no need for this person to carry themselves and secretly deliver it by hand. Yeah. Whoops. What did I skip? Yeah, that does sound pretty weird. In the first place, if Beatrice existed and wanted to make her presence known... Oh! Okay, it's when they speak English. Thank you, Sid. In the first place, if Beatrice existed and wanted to make her presence known to everyone, then she could have openly presented herself to all of us. Despite that, she chose the vague method of appearing through a little girl called Maria-chan, and only gave us a vague impression of who she was. Yeah, I think it's the original background. Somebody told me that, when somebody told me that these backgrounds were actually photographs, like, that was so cool to me. Contradiction. Let's go a little deeper, shall we? She appeared in front of Maria, trying to give us the impression that a 19th person existed. And yet, she still hasn't appeared before us and is hiding somewhere at this very moment. Think about those contradictions. You've got to keep these things in mind when you spin the chessboard around. That phrase is going to ping-pong in my head a bit. In short, if a person wants to leave us with the impression that Beatrice exists as the 19th person, what might their goal be? If this person wanted to hide, then they would have made their presence known. And if they wanted to show themselves, they wouldn't have used the roundabout approach of entrusting someone with a letter. Which means it's simple. Beatrice is one of the 18 people. That's why they want to create the illusion that there are more than 18 people. I wish I didn't know that Beatrice was real just by clicking through the pictures of the game store on Steam. What a shame. The 19th person was revealed so spectacularly. If someone were to profit from this, it wouldn't be some 19th person in hiding. It'd be one of the original 18 people. Of course, this reasoning is full of holes. If you turn over even a few of its premises, it'll simply fall apart. But I'm almost completely certain it's correct. This is starting to feel pretty creepy. Someone lent Maria the umbrella and handed her the letter. Yeah, but oh, okay. Never mind. I just almost contradicted myself there. Supposedly, none of the 18 did this. And yet, Beatrice was hidden among those 18. What was this person planning? Hiding their true form and pretending to be Beatrice? I suspected it might have been Maria-chan play acting, but the contents of the message were extremely complicated, and it's hard to imagine Maria writing that herself. However, I can't deny the possibility that Maria is working together with someone. Wait a sec. Maria's a 9-year-old kid, right? What could she possibly be planning? With whom? And what about her straightforward, overly honest, obedient nature? Yeah, I also understand what kind of person Maria Chan is. But that's exactly why I think it's possible. That girl's a dreamer who can't help but look up and blindly accept the existence of witches. So if a person appeared in front of her and claimed to be the witch Beatrice, Maria Chan would happily swallow it up, I think. Just realized they aren't speaking. Do I think of anyone right now like that could be Beatrice? Well, for now, I'm just gonna assume it was literally Beatrice. But if I had to guess, if I had to assume it was one of the staff, I would think it would be Canon. Because there's just something off about him. I don't know. Plus, he's the only one that would have like realistically passed her, and I don't know. That's just my thought. Like if there is, like if there was hypothetically lying here. Of course, with that reasoning, all of us women would become the primary suspects. Anyway, who did Maria Chan encounter? Learning the details of that question would be the best key to solving this riddle. But this key has been firmly locked away inside Maria's heart. Everyone denied the existence of the witch without listening to her, barraging her too much with questions about who Beatrice actually was. She probably won't open her heart to the adults now. In the dim hall, in front of the portrait of Beatrice, Maria was sobbing. No one believes I met Beatrice. Even though I showed them the letter Beatrice gave me, they still don't believe. Time skip? Time skip? No time skip. Anyway, Maria's holding the key. The key to whether Beatrice is one of those 18 people or a 19th person. Maria's stubborn, right? When the girl gets angry, it's pretty hard to make her feel better. Battler, I think a kid like you would be better at cheering her up than an adult like me. After she's feeling better, try asking. I feel like something's gonna happen in the night when they're sleeping. Like, I swear to God, something's gonna happen. It's gonna be, like, even weirder. I know you don't care about this all back and forth about the inheritance, but you don't find this Western Mansion mystery exciting. Western Mansion mystery situation exciting. Who in the world is this person who gave Maria Chan the letter? It makes your intellectual curiosity ache. You're actually pretty tough, considering you're still excited after being dragged to that endless money talk. Adults can be pretty amazing. I shrugged exasperately. But I did notice something. Kyrie noticed how dejected I was after hearing our parents' turbulent discussion, and was probably trying to clear the air. At the very least, I'd recovered enough to voice my complaints. She wasn't my real mother, so I've never felt calling her mom. But it did make me think she's a real adult. Hey, brats. So this is where you were. Kyrie, you really took your time fixing your makeup, didn't you? I'll make a habit of going out touch my makeup too. I'm sorry. A woman's makeup takes a long time. So, how has the discussion been without me? I'm sure everything was all peaceful and harmonious. Kairi-san poked at the weak spot under my arm with her elbow. We decided to take a break and cool our heads a little. It looks like we'll be at it all night. Makes me want to cry. His way of talking hadn't changed, but he couldn't completely hide his fatigue. I couldn't say I was sympathetic, but he looked pitiful compared to his normal, energetic self. Still, that rain's just awful. I really don't want to go back to the guest house. It looks like Natsui Nissan set things up so we could spend the night here in the mansion. What'll we do? We don't need to decide until you're done, right? If you run so low on energy that you can't return to our room, then we can take them up on their offer. You're right. We can think about it later. What about you, Battler? If I stayed, I'd just be getting in the way. I'll be nice and go back over there. I see. Will you go back soon? I don't know. It'd be lonely to head back by myself. I'll gather all the kids and we'll head out. Okay. You go do that. Also, Battler, you won't be going to sleep that easily tonight, right? Yeah, I'll probably be up talking with the cousins. Hold up, I'm gonna shove some Cheez-Its in my face. Give me like 30 seconds. Alright, I'm back. Okay. Is there a problem with that? I see. If you're still awake when the adults discussion is over, I want to have a little talk as a family. What? That doesn't sound like you. Apparently Kairi-san was thinking the same. He's gonna try to get them all to work together. I guarantee it. What are you talking about? She asked him in a small voice. It looked like Kairi-san didn't have a clue what Dad meant either. I also want to talk to you about it, Kairi. I'll tell you later, so don't ask now, please. Ellipses? I don't know anyone who neglects the concept of family as much as this old bastard. Now he's saying we're gonna have a talk as a family? Both Kairi-san and I couldn't help but get wide-eyed. Don't look so terrified. I'm the one who should be terrified. After all, at this point he swallowed his words for an instant. Even putting on airs of importance wasn't much like my dad. You're freaking me out, Dad. Everyone in our family's gathered here now, right? Don't make a big deal out of it and spit it out. Tonight, I will probably... Whoa. Whoa. Holy shit. Okay, whoa. What? Oh, a huge crash of thunder. The plot thickens. It must have been really close. Dad's expression, brightly illuminated by the lightning, was burned into my eyes. Dad's face, which always looked so sure of itself, which always wore a taunting expression, was strangely frail in a way I couldn't really explain. It was so worn out, he looked like a different person. This is where freaking Battler becomes Harry Dubois, Kyrie becomes Kim Kitsuragi, and it's Disco Elysium, baby. They're playing Disco Elysium now. What? What are you talking about? It doesn't sound like you. I agree. What happened? You look so timid all of a sudden. It's not like you. I'm gonna go fix my makeup too. Don't follow me. Dad turned away weakly. After that, only Kyrie and I were left, still wide-eyed. What did he say? Tonight he'll be killed? You don't think that mysterious letter scared him, do you? He's been watching too many serial murder movies. It was the 80s. This was like when they were in vogue. Kyrie-san didn't answer my light-hearted words and continued to stare at my dad's disappearing back. Butler-kun, when you told Rudolph-san to spill the beans right away, he left without telling us anything. Even though he said he had something to say to the both of us, he didn't answer you. Why? Spin the chessboard around. What do you see? Well, when he said he wanted to talk, but then couldn't, that's a contradiction. What can you see? What? Can you see something by looking from Dad's perspective? Yes, I can see something. He wants to talk about something. However, he doesn't have the courage to bring it up. So he actually means chase after me, talk to me, and ask me about it yourself. By saying don't follow me, he actually means the opposite. Dads are like the biggest freaking users of reverse psychology. My dad would do something like this. Like, absolutely no questions asked, my dad would do this. He actually means follow me and force me to answer. Seriously, what a spoiled brat. What? Can you really call that reasoning? That's ridiculous. Is she a police detective? I don't know, she kind of gives me that vibe. I don't understand what's going on with her fit, though. Her fit's almost as bad as George's. Is this like flesh here? Or, I don't know. Battler is very nicely dressed. It's just that his cousin is just so hopeless. Can great private and police detectives deduce the emotions and feelings between men and women? They can't, right? Bringing out the feelings of the opposite sex is an even more advanced art than exposing the tricks of difficult crime cases. If you ask me, romance novels have much deeper mysteries than masterpiece mystery novels. I don't know, Kyrie. You should play Disco Elysium. It's pretty damn good. I see. Is that how it is? I won't tolerate George slander. I'm sorry. His fit is so bad. He's so nice and he's so chill. Call me Joan Rivers. I'm the fashion police. I just can't. I see how it is. I'll stand alongside that spoiled brat. He normally loves to bluff, but tonight he's completely tired from that heated discussion. He probably wants someone to lean on at the moment. And responding to that need is the role of his partner. Sounds passionate. Then could you imagine your husband dies and now you're just stuck here not related to anybody? That would suck. I hope he doesn't die. He's gonna die though. I can smell it. It's super auspicious. Then I'll leave the old bastard in your hands. Yes, leave it to me. I call it out to Kairi-san's departing back. Huh? What? I wanted to say thanks. Thanks to you, my gloomy mood has cleared up a lot. That's good. Communication is important. After answering with a wink, Kairi-san followed after Dad. Natsuhi could be found in a dimly lit hallway. Now and then, the thunder would crash, but this had no effect on her expression. She looked completely worn out. This discussion had just taken place between the relatives in the dining hall was repeating itself inside Natsuhi's mind. Beatrice had proclaimed that in addition to the gold, all the inheritance and property of the Yoshiramiya family would be given to the person who could solve the riddle. Bro, she wants the money for herself. In other words, she planned to undermine the absolute guarantee that Kraus, as the oldest brother, had to succeed as the family head. Originally, the other siblings had absolutely no chance to inherit the headship. To them, this proposal by Beatrice was extremely desirable. It was obvious that they would accept it. There was no need to play some clumsy detective game. Natsui knew that this so-called 19th person, Beatrice, couldn't exist. Naturally, Beatrice was nothing more than a fictional character used to pass a message that Kinzo had written himself. As proof, Kinzo had remained stubbornly neutral as to that letter's authenticity. He was completely ignoring these reckless claims, and he shouldn't have been able to ignore that he had given up the heads a ring. Oh, thanks for following, Kakak. I'm gonna try my best to pronounce that. Didn't do a great job. Kakach? Oh well. Not gonna try that hard. My pronunciation's not great. But thank you for the follow. I'm gonna try to stream this all week because I'm leaving at the end of next week. And I'm gonna be out of town for a bit. Oh, Sid, thank you for also following me. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. In short, Kinzo had wordlessly admitted that the letter held his own message. Most likely, one of the servants had given Maria the letter. Kinzo had probably worked out an elaborate plan where the dress from the portrait would be prepared. And someone, probably Shannon, would be made to wear it and deliver the letter and the umbrella. Oh, she suspects Shannon did it. I think it's because she doesn't like Shannon. He thinks Kinzo? Okay. She thinks Kinzo's orchestrating this. By doing that, he could make it seem like the witch from the portrait actually existed. No, if anything, that alone was proof that Kinzo was behind all of this. In that case, it was the same as Kinzo trying to butt in on this siblings' private discussion. Then Kinzo, by announcing that he'd given everything to the person who'd solved the riddle, could weaken Kraus's overwhelming advantage. Now it was certain. Kinzo had eavesdropped on the siblings' discussion in the parlor earlier that day. Oh, she's right. Like in defense of this all being a conspiracy, we do know that Cannon was spying on them. It was Nancho dressed as Beatrice, guys. He would look so good in that dress. She had known Kraus had staved off the attack by the other three. And to make the scales of the battle go back into balance, he had sent out this strange letter which benefited Krause's rivals. He was trying to push this crazy theory so that Rosa, who had a weak position among the siblings because of her age, would join with Ava and Rudolph. Then, with a 3-1 advantage, they'd be able to overwhelm Krause yet again and make their ridiculous theories get accepted by force. And by doing that, he gave them the power to resettle what had once been a nearly decided conflict. They had now started repeatedly pressing Krause to pay them a large amount of money. Using the condition that all Krause's siblings would guarantee using the condition that all the siblings would guarantee Krause's position as the successor, talk about the advance payments was being brought up again despite having been rejected once. I think we're past the concept of these advance payments. This is all this is all just doesn't matter right now. Of course, even without the story about the hidden gold, the Ashiramiya family's store wealth was vast. Holy smokes. That store of wealth was alone more than enough. Even the hidden gold was buried forever along with Kinzo's death. There would be more than enough to satisfy. Therefore, even if they weren't interested in the gold itself, Kinzo had managed to instill the lifelong fear that, on the off chance that something found the gold, that person would be granted the headship. And this kind of Achilles heel would definitely be taken advantage of sooner or later. The only person with this fatal weakness was the successor, Krause. The other siblings had they had been told by Kinzo about something that only Krause could lose, and they had thoroughly taken advantage of that. Natsui, as Krause's only okay, so she does, okay. There goes my theory that she's actually 5D chess and that she wants it all for herself, no child, and she's just like greedy. I really don't like her, and I'm projecting my demons onto her. Natsuhi, as Krause's only ally in his painful position and his wife, wanted to fight alongside him. She kept trying to explain to him that the existence of the gold itself was a farce, and that there was no need for him to compromise. Krause had always told Natsuhi. He had told all of the siblings. He always said that the hidden gold was nothing more than an illusion created by Kinzo. Therefore, Natsui believed it as his wife and supported her husband on that foundation. Even so, Natsui's words didn't reach Krause. Even though Natsui had fought so hard and had lent her all of her strength, he continued to fight himself and was trying to compromise with the other 3 siblings. Natsui sadly and weakly wondered why she could not be of use to him. Then she started getting angry. It happened when everyone decided to take a short break to cool their heads. Natsui had flared up against Krause. Enraged, she asked why she could not be useful to him. He had then told her that he wanted to talk about something, and invited her into a room that she was normally not allowed to enter. Wait. What if all the siblings are in trouble? That room had been sealed with a heavy-looking padlock, and just looking at it gave her an uncomfortable feeling. There's no need for you to worry about anything said by those 3, or even the suspicious person who calls herself Beatrice. Well, I guess what I'm thinking is that, all the children are, it's all the children could die, because I don't know. They're having this private discussion right now. I'm just like, I'm spitballing. I'm totally guessing. It'd be crazy if all four of them died. And they're all keeping it from each other. I don't know. Maybe you're right. I think I'm I think I'm huffing too much conspiracy juice right now. After all, the gold was just a ruse created by father. There's no way something like that could be found. Your position as successor is a solid fact. What are you afraid of? Kraus removed the padlock on the door. He then motioned for Natsuhi to enter. Enter. What is this? There's something I want you to see. I've never shown you this before. I am like so terrified right now. Natsui timidly opened the door with a dubious expression on her face. It was pitch black. She searched for a switch to turn the lights on, but since this was her first time in the room, she didn't know where it was. Kraus entered behind her, pushing her in, and when he closed the door before turning on the lights, the two were swallowed up by the darkness. I'm so spooked right now because that's like the sound whenever you open and close the game. And I feel like this is going to be really important. Only the sound of Kraus locking the door rang out through the dark. What are you doing? The lights. I'm turning them on now. Wait. Just as he said, when Kraus pushed a switch on the wall, a flickering light turned on and lit up the room. That is... Natsui had her breath taken away. The room had no windows, and at a glance it appeared to be empty. In the middle of the room, a small, round table had been set, and the lights brightened only that table, as if it were the leading part in a play. On top of the table, a red tablecloth of elaborate design had been set out, covered with dust. And on top of that, something about the size of a grown man's arm had been set down. That something took Natsui's breath away. Oh my god! The gold is real! The gold is real! It's a gold ingot of incredible purity. Without this, no one would have believed in the legend of the gold. It was an ingot of solid gold. Even in the faint light, it sparkled with a noble and dignified glint. This is not a proper ingot. I don't even know whether it was cast inside or outside the country. It took a high level of skill to make the purest of solid gold ingots. And in order to verify that purity, it was standard to have the original foundry and the name on the bank that guaranteed it imprinted on the gold. However, this ingot did not have that kind of seal. This mysterious gold bar had come from an unknown foundry. Look here, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just a bar of gold. Natsui, following Kraus's words, timidly approached the ingot. Right there. Kraus pointed at the surface of the ingot. Natsui concentrated on that section. What is it? I can't really see what it is. Oh, right there was the thin imprint of the one-winged eagle crest. Natsui's breath was taken away once again. That's right. This is the legendary ingot that Father said he received from the witch, that the president of Marusu witnessed and had allowed to select at random to take back with him. That gained the trust of the fixers in the business world. I had to use all possible means to find it. I found it before the other siblings could. How could Then the legend of Father's gold it actually exists. The gold that Yoshiramiya Kinzo received from Beatrice actually exists. Impossible. So it really does exist. Natsui was shocked. Kraus had always said that Kinzo's gold was just a fabrication, so she had believed it as his wife. However, the reality was different. Since he held definite proof, he had been more certain than any of the other siblings that the legend of the gold was true. Because of this, Kraus was deeply frightened at the possibility that someone other than himself would find the gold he'd failed to find, costing him everything. But to Natsui, this truth was more than enough to split open her heart. She had thought that, as Kraus's wife, she should be his closest confidant, which was why she selflessly supported him. And yet, he had hid this fact from her until today. Why? Have I been so undeserving of your trust? That has never been my intention. There was simply no need to tell you. Is that all a wife means to you? Calm down. Becoming passionate easily is one of your bad habits. You're the one who's making me like that, aren't you? I've been supporting of you as a wife ever since I married into this family. For your sake, I threw away the family I was born into, and I've been offering up my heart and my body to serve you. And in return, this is what I get? How could you? Kraus grimaced, looking annoyed. His expression effectively communicated how much he disliked this part of Natsui, even if he didn't say it out loud. It doesn't look like I will be of any use to you anymore. That's fine. I can resolve the troubles with the siblings myself. I don't need your help. That's wrong. This is the Yoshiramiya family's problem. It's true that I'm not permitted to wear the family crest on my body, but I'm still your wife. Wait, hold up. Okay, yeah, none of the others said... Okay. But I am still your wife. Even so, are you saying I'm not capable of helping you? Are you? I especially wouldn't want to risk getting you involved. It would probably make your headaches even worse than they are now. Take a rest for today. The siblings will deal with the siblings' problems. It has nothing to do with you. That's all. The gold is real! The gold is real! Dull headache tormented Natsui. No matter what medicine she took, no matter what scent she burned, it wouldn't heal. In fact, man, girl, just, I don't know, maybe smoke some dope or something. In fact, simply wandering alone through the dark corridors and listening to the sound of rain seemed to be a better cure. I may be Natsui, but I was never Ushiramiya Natsui. I have been despised and treated as a borrowed womb, and insulted when I couldn't even fill that role. Even so, I have tried to properly perform my duties as a wife, but now, even my husband has rejected me. I've done my best raising my daughter, as if it were the last job left in me. However, I've had no release from my anger and sadness. They suddenly caused me to subconsciously strain that relationship too. Because I've been excessively strict in Jessica's education, she dislikes me thoroughly. She despises for me to have no interest in anything but grades. There's no longer anything I can do for the Yoshiramiya family. No, that's no good. Despite it all, I must help my husband and beat back the schemes of the other greedy siblings. The family head won't be around much longer. Eventually, Kraus will succeed as the head. And the next successor will be Jessica. Strictly speaking, the man who enters the family by marrying Jessica will become the next head. But it all comes to the same thing. I have to make Jessica an excellent successor, whom everyone will accept as worthy to take over the Shiramiya family. In the days to come, the greedy Shiramiya Eva will probably be plotting to find some fault with the main family. And if all goes as she plans, Jessica will be dragged down from succession, with George set to take her place. It is regrettable, but George is a man, even more, has matured as a person. Compared to Jessica, who is right in the middle of her rebellious period, and whose grades are slightly below average, it can be seen at a glance who is more fit to succeed as the head. So in order to secure Jessica's position, I need to turn her into an excellent person. After doing that, I want to find her an excellent husband, worthy of the excellent person she will have become. A wonderful man who will truly accept Jessica and stay with her through all of life's joys and sorrows. Was Natsui trying to entrust her daughter with the feelings and desires of her own? Natsui thought back to the days when she had no choice but to marry into the Oshiramiya family because of that unavoidable fate. She had tried to block that from her memory. She'd consciously forgotten about it and had actively attended to the life she'd given as Ushiramiya Natsuhi. And in doing so, she'd built up a new life. Just now, it felt like it all had been casually rejected. Ellipses. How should I think as I live my life? I do not know. Natsui helplessly rested her head against the glass in the window. The glass, which was cool thanks to the raindrops beating against it, felt somehow refreshing, even though it should have been emotionless. Right then, it seemed to be the only thing she could understand that could understand Natsui. At that point, even if someone had appeared, Natsui didn't intend to pay any attention to them. But she didn't pay attention, because it was her beloved daughter. Oh, it's you, Mom. What the heck are you doing in a place like this? Thought you were a ghost. Just like always, her words were rough and not at all like a girl's. Instinctively, words of rebuke rose to Natsui's throat. However, their strength gave out, and they didn't escape her lips. Jessica, forgive me, but my headache is awful. Please leave me be. I see. Jessica was seeing her mother in a position of feebleness for the first time. But really? She's like, okay, whatever. That was the first time? So she was considerably disconcerted. Wait, disconnected or disconcerted? Disconcerted, okay. Until just now, she'd been filled with contempt for all of the parents, including her mother. But now, those feelings completely swept away. Her mother's utterly exhausted face had wiped them out. In its place, the words George had told her floated back into her mind. Our parents are doing their best in their own way. And because of their families are counting on them, they couldn't afford to keep everything pleasant and have a heavy responsibility to fight. Maybe her mother had been standing around in this dimly lit hallway because no one had tried to understand that part of her. Jessica hated her mother, so she had no intention of speaking kindly to Natsui just because she was looking a bit frail. So when she attempted to speak kindly to her mother anyway, she had to clench her fists and gather up the words from deep in her heart. It sounds like you've really gotten your hands full with that meeting thing. has nothing to do with you. Please, go somewhere else. Is your headache bad? Should I get some medicine? Yeah. Oh, I'm so yawning. I took a nap today. You don't have to trouble yourself. Please, leave me alone. Natsui wasn't being cold. She wasn't her. She wasn't. She just wanted her daughter to go far away so that she wouldn't have to bump against Natsui's own short temper. But there was no chance that Jessica would realize this. Okay. Jessica hung her head, looking sad. Seeing that expression, Natsui recognized the kindness that Jessica was trying to muster. Tell your daughter you love her, you ding-dong. She gave her head a small shake to drive away her own unkind feelings, and I'll leave. I'll be with the other cousins, so I don't get in the way of the adults. See you later. Wait here. She called Jessica, who was trying to leave and looked lonely, to a stop. What? Thank you for being so considerate. It isn't good of me to go to sleep and leave you alone. Don't talk like that. You'll bring bad luck. I've made you worried, but I'm okay now. I will go. If I let my daughter see me this feeble any longer, I'll only make her feel more uneasy. With that thought in mind, Natsui left Jessica with words of gratitude and made me depart. This time, Jessica called out to her mother's back. Natsui stopped and turned around, asking what business Jessica had with her. But Jessica herself didn't know why she'd stopped her mother. And for a while, she smiled wryly, muttering to herself as she hesitated over what to say. She was poking around her pocket when her hand touched something and she took it out. Hey Mom. Oh, she gonna give her the charm? Yeah. I was given a charm today. What was it? A charm against magic? Oh my god. Battler needs to give his father the charm. Battler needs to give his father the charm. I'm pretty sure that you were supposed to hang it from your doorknob, I think. I forget. There's no point in me having it, so I'll let you take it. It was the scorpion charm that Maria had given her on the beach. Although she'd heard of various effects from Maria, Jessica's mind had gone blank, and she was just barely able to even say that much. Jessica, thinking that her mother wouldn't accept it anyway, immediately drew back the hand that she had stuck out, grasping the charm. So when Natsui came back to take it, she was extremely shocked. What is this? Some kind of prize toy? Well, I think it's something like that. I guess I wouldn't really expect a charm that looks like a toy to do anything. No, this is why it's magical, is because you're putting like value into it. This is how magic works. But her mother took the charm from where she grasped it in her hand. Thank you. I'll take good care of it. Sometime soon, in exchange, why don't I give you a charm that was important to me when I was a child? It's not like that's why I gave it to you. Well, if you really say so, then I will rest for now. My headache is awful. Try not to stay up too late. Sure. Natsui-san put the charm in her pocket and turned away. She then disappeared into the dark hall. It seems the weather will be like this all day tomorrow after all. Whoops. Dang it. This makes the good weather we had earlier feel like a lie. George, Anaki, and I were killing time in front of the parlor television. At that point, Jessica returned. Her face was still blank, but it looked like she'd calmed down a little since we'd last seen her. Is Maria still in front of the portrait? Nope. She just came back and she's sleeping there on the sofa. It's getting pretty late for her after all. Oh, it's already 10 o'clock. Wow. It went from being 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock. We didn't even get a time skip. This game is just getting better as I keep playing it. Looking at the clock, I saw it was a little past 10 p.m. Even if we were planning to stay up all night, it was about time to head back to our room. Well, my mom did have a room prepared for us in the mansion. What'll we do? I'd rather head back to the guest house. Going by what we saw of our parents, I think it'd be better if we weren't in the mansion. I agree. Feels like they're telling us kids to mind our own business and stay out of their way. Let's be good little boys and girls and do that. As we were talking about this, Aunt Rosa came into the parlor. She was looking all over restlessly, probably trying to find Maria. Aunt Rosa, if you're looking for Maria, she's over there on the sofa. Thank you. My, she's out cold. We must move her to bed. If you'd like, I'll carry her over to a bed. Thanks, that would be wonderful. Are you all heading back to the guest house? Or are you going to stay in the room Natsui-Nason had prepared here? We were just talking about that. We just decided to head over to the guest house. I see. Then could I ask you to take Maria with you? I'd feel much more reassured if she stays. Dude, is Battler gonna talk to his dad or not? I'd be so pissed at him if he doesn't talk to his dad. I don't think he'll, oh my god. That shit makes me crazy. I'd feel much more reassured if she stays with all your cousins. You cousins. Behind those words, she seemed to be concealing some regret with the adults, herself included, had deeply hurt Maria's feelings. Leave it to us, Aunt Rosa. After all, we do have an expert in comforting Maria with us. Actually, they both are really great at comforting her. Are you talking about me? I couldn't do it myself. We'll need everyone together. That's right. Battler, weren't you the one who hit it off with Maria when you were messing around earlier? As she said this, Aunt Rosa smiled, looking truly happy. Thank you, everyone. It looks like our meeting will last until very late. So, while I'm sorry to burden you like this, I'll be counting on you all to take care of Maria. Hey, Maria, are you sound asleep? We're going back to the guest house. Maria muttered something indistinct, rolled over, and fell back asleep. It looked like she was sleeping deeply. She's really out cold. I'd hate to wake her. Right, I'll carry her. I think Maria said she was like 50. I think she said she was 29 kilograms. And in my American units, 29 kilograms is about, what, 60 pounds? Like 63 or 4 pounds? She's not that heavy. Just kind of like carrying her on your back or something. It'd be pretty easy. Maria's body was much lighter than it looked. I lifted her and put her on George Aniki's back. It kind of sucks that they had to walk through the rain, though. It was raining hard outside, and Aniki couldn't hold an umbrella and carry Maria at the same time. It looked like Aunt Rosa would come with us as far as the guest house to help us out. However, when she heard Uncle Krause's voice call out to her, she had no choice but to return. Now, that's a problem. I had to go back for now. Is everyone returning to the guest house? After we left the hall on the way to the entrance, the door to the servant room opened and Shannon-chan stepped out. It has grown very dark, so allow me to guide you. That would be great, Shannon-chan. George-kun is going to carry Maria here. Could you hold an umbrella for him? Yes, certainly. Shannon Chan brought umbrellas for each of us and a flashlight to guide the way. Wow, isn't she freaking ready to go? As we opened the front door, the downpour was quite terrific. It looked like we wouldn't have any spare time to take a pleasant walk and enjoy the nighttime rose garden. Oh wait, just saw there are no voices for this version? That's kind of shocking. I mean, I'd rather read it anyways. Would I? I don't know. I think I saw somewhere in the internet there's like a voiced version of this game, but I don't know. I think it would just be easier for it to be in my Steam library. It surprised me if they had an English dub though. Anaki, is she too heavy? Want me to carry her? It's okay. I can at least carry Maria-chan. I'm truly grateful. Please take care of Maria. Sure, you got it. Then I guess this is good night, Aunt Rosa. I'm still on the fuck Aunt Rosa train because she was slapping the shit out of her daughter. Yeah, they have lots of famous Japanese voice actors. Then I will see them over there and return here. Yes, please. Aunt Rosa watched us leave. Maria, I'm sorry for everything. I don't care how many times you apologize, Rosa. You're the freaking adult in the room. Rosa's mumbling voice didn't reach the person in question, nor any of the kids, but disappeared beneath the sound of the rain. After cutting through the rainy rose garden, we arrived at the guest house. If only I'd applied for the position of Maria carrier. Then oh god. Oh god, Battler, no. Then I would have gotten a chance to have Shannon's rubbing all over my arm. Wait, this goes back to my crack theory from like... This goes back to my crack theory that George has a thing for Shannon. Absolute crack theory, but we'll see. That's not why I did it. It's a misunderstanding. I thought if I didn't walk like this, George-sama would get all wet. Come on, quit babbling and go in. After being urged on by Jessica, we folded up our umbrellas and went into the guest house. Jotaro and Battler have the same VA? Oh. Surely Battler will use his stand, Crazy Diamond, to save his father. That absolutely blows me away. Holy shit, I love that. Has anyone gotten their clothes wet? I could bring some towels if you want. You don't need to worry about us that much. Shannon Chan. That's right. We were planning to play cards or something. Would you care to join us for a bit? I'm so crack thick shipping them. Huh? I mean, there's like a 5-year age gap, which is like a little weird. But it was the 80s, whatever. Huh? Who had the night shift on today's schedule? I believe we had a special schedule during the family conference. Also, I think a few alterations have been made, so I will go and check. Wait, if you don't go all the way back to the mansion to find out, don't force yourself. Isn't it 3? 3 what? Oh! I thought Shannon was 18 and George was 23. I thought she was 18. Oh wait, they did say she was 16. Yeah, you're right. She's 16. It's a 7-year age gap. Okay, that's really weird. Japan, ladies and gentlemen. Man, George would have been a great Minecraft YouTuber. Okay. Wait, if you have to go all the way back to the mansion to find out, don't force yourself. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's all right. I can find out from some servant room in the guest house. Please excuse me for a short while. That's convenient that they had the schedules in both houses. Jan and Chan gave a quick blow and went to the guest house servant room. The rest of us headed to the cousin room and decided to put Maria to bed for the time being. Maria was sleeping very deeply, and there was absolutely no sign of her eyes opening. For now, we'd get some soft drinks out of the room's refrigerator and drink those while playing cards or something. Ooh, somebody's knocking. Oh, it's Cannon. Oh, Cannon-kun? And you're here too, Genji-sama. What has happened with tonight's shift? Kraus-sama has given an order. He made some sizable changes to the shift schedule. Indeed. Goda-san now has the night shift at the mansion. Shannon and Cannon have the night shift at the guest house. Kumasawa-san and I have been ordered to sleep in the guest house. Just now, a phone call came saying that once you arrived, you were to also remain here for the rest of the night. Huh? That's certainly is a sizable change. The shifts at the guest house in the mansion have been completely reversed, haven't they? That's interesting. I already kind of don't like Goda because he was rude to Cannon. I don't know. I feel like I haven't even started to peel the layers of the onion that has become this game. Originally, Shannon and Cannon had been assigned to the night shift in the mansion, while the night shift in the guest house, where all the relatives were staying, had been assigned to Goda, who had an abundance of experience in entertaining. Kumasawa should have been sleeping at the guest house, while Genji should have been sleeping in the mansion. They make Genji sleep with the servants? That kind of sucks. However, it seemed that Kraus had suddenly ordered that schedule to be modified. The shifts at the guest house and the mansion had all been reversed, and Genji was spending the night at the guest. Oh wait, Genji is the head servant. I'm getting him mixed up with Nanjo. Okay. I'm so glad they put that freaking thing there. That is so helpful for me. And the tips, too? That's just... they were thinking about me. But it's probably because of Beatrice-sama's letter. Why probably? After such a mysterious letter appeared, it's only natural that Kraus-sama would suspect one of us. We served directly under the master, so Kraus-sama tried as best as he could to keep us far away from the family conference. Oh! I think Goda has like a personal allegiance to Natsui. Oh wait! Yeah, because he doesn't wear the one-winged eagle, right? Yeah, he doesn't. Oh, that is so interesting. Neither does Kumasawa. Because she's got it on her leg. He's got it right here on his ruffle thing. Oh, this is... So not even all the servants are like a unified force. Like, they have different loyalties. Oh, that's really interesting. We're all permitted to wear the Yoshiromiya one-winged eagle as servants who serve directly under Kinzo. Of course, since they were working for the Yoshiromiya family, they had to obey anyone's orders, but their only boss was Kinzo. Since only Kinzo had the right to employ them, even Kraus could not have dismissed them of his own accord. Because of this, Kraus and the others often viewed these servants as Kinzo's underlings and shunned them. In fact, in fact, Kinzo seldom let anyone other than them enter his study. Does he wear the crest? Okay, Nanjo doesn't wear the crest either, okay. This sudden shift change was probably a clear expression of the sense of mistrust that had caused. Considering the time Kinzo had left to live, this would definitely be the last family conference before the problem of the inheritance came up. On top of that, the mysterious letter that claimed to be from Beatrice had dropped out in the blue. Kraus definitely wanted to keep Kinzo's loyal subjects away from the table in such a delicate and important discussion. Yeah, Nanjo is just like a guy. I don't even really... He's not on payroll or anything. I think he just chills out there. Kraus definitely wanted to keep Kinzo's loyal subjects away from the table of such a delicate and important discussion. If you would excuse me, I will go rest. If anything happens, call me immediately. Our guest tonight is a special case, after all. What did he mean by that? Yes, certainly, Genji-sama. Genji nodded back, went behind a screen, and took off his jacket and slowly began to relax after a day's worth of tension. The ones who returned now, were they children? Yes. The other relatives are having a conference in the mansion. It looked like it would drag on for quite some time. Then we've got it easy. It's already late, and there's this weather. The rest of the relatives will probably spend the night in their rooms at the mansion. Yes, probably. I'm only saying this because Genji-sama isn't around, but I'm a little happy I was sent to the guest house, I guess. Oh? Why is that? Because you can stay away from Madam and Ava-sama and those bullies? Or do you have another reason? Oh, like she gets to spend time with George. It's not as though I have another reason. I see. Well, let's do our best with our night shift. I'm counting on you, Ne-san. Just now I was asked to go to the children's room and play with them. Shannon hung her head apologetically, gazing at Cannon uncertainly. Cannon didn't try to meet her eyes and spoke curtly as he sighed. This would be such a good game to play in the rain. It would be so atmospheric. It looked like he didn't plan on indulging his sister. You can't. You were assigned to the night shift. Besides which, it isn't necessary for furniture like us to respond to an invitation to play. You understand, right? Yes, I do understand. Shannon's shoulders drooped slightly. She had already expected that Cannon, a stickler for the rules, would say something like that, but she still seemed a little discouraged. As Cannon flicked through a logbook, he spoke without facing Shannon. That means the children will be waiting for you. You'll have to apologize and tell them you have the night shift and won't be able to stay with them. Go and come back. Yes. I'll go and apologize and come back. Shannon hurriedly stood from her seat before her brother's mood could change and flew out of the servant room after giving a quick bow. As he watched her go, Cannon took a single deep breath. Genji's voice came from beyond the screen. Cannon, I'll be here, so you can go too. Genji-sama, Shannon was the only one called. It's not as though I was invited. That is only because you were not there at the time. Genji's being a nice guy, and he just wants the kids to, like, be kids for a second, I think. I don't know. Genji seems somehow trustworthy. Like, somehow he seems more trustworthy than Cannon. But maybe that's just a red herring. It is only because you were not there at the time. If you had been, they would have invited you as well. It is good to play as a child from time to time. Ellipses. No such thing is necessary for me. Human children may have a need to play, but we are furniture. Is that so? Mason is also furniture. Even if she pretends to be a person, it will only hurt her later. I understand that, so I will not try to get close to people. I try not to get too close to people, that's all. Genji did not say anything after that. After a while, he stood up and used a pot of hot water to make powdered cocoa. Ooh! Hot cocoa. Serving some to Cannon as well. I have some packets of hot cocoa. I should make some. Maybe I'll make some before I go to bed. Oh, that would be badass. Hell yeah, I'm doing that. Maybe it's time if you know what, it's fall. I need some hot chocolate. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm gonna have some late night hot chocolate after the stream. I don't know. I'm probably gonna go for maybe till 1 o'clock again. I want to end at a good spot though. That's the thing. I don't want to end like in the middle of a dialogue. Is that for real? I had no clue. Dumbass, you're too loud. You'll wake Maria up. Battler was so surprised that he yelled obnoxiously and scattered his cards everywhere. His voice caused Maria to turn over once, but she soon fell back into a deep sleep. Jessica gave him a jab, and he lowered his voice. Still, seriously, now that you mention it, they really did have that kind of atmosphere, didn't they? Now I see. George Aniki is... George couldn't be seen anywhere in the room. Dude, wait, are Jessica and Badler cooking the Shannon-George theory that I have? Okay. George couldn't be seen anywhere in the room. A short while ago, when Shannon came into the room, George suddenly said he'd forgotten something in the mansion and he needed to go back and grab it. Oh, they're spending time together? Bro, I'm such a believer now. There's no denying it. Shannon said that she would guide him, just like she had on the way to the guest house, so the two of them departed together. Oh yeah, they're totally baking it. This is actual sibling. This is cousin dialogue. This is real freaking cousin dialogue. This is exactly what I would freaking gossip about. Well, there's actually been signs of it for a while now. You know, questions about hobbies and favorite things. I always thought it was a bit much for a passing interest. Look what's happening now. Come to think of it, I get a feeling George always been overly nice to Shannon. However, that also means that I think they're doom driven by this freaking prophecy. I absolutely, yeah, it's very obvious they're doom driven by this prophecy. I get the feeling George Anaki always been overly nice to Shannon Chan. Now I get it. Ooh, do we get to? Yes, I'm so happy. Let's fucking go. Yes. We love it. That is so scandalous. According to the weather report, it looks like it'll be at its worst tonight. It also seems it'll last all day tomorrow. And though it should get a little better. Really? Then maybe the boat won't arrive until the day after tomorrow. I hope that doesn't interfere with your work on Monday. I already knew this typhoon would be coming beforehand. Just in case, I made sure I didn't have any plans for Monday, so it's, okay. I may not look it, but I really am the type who can plan ahead in his schedule. George puffed out his chest, acting proud. Compared to the calm appearance George had always had as the oldest cousin, compared to the calm appearance George always had as the oldest cousin, he now looked amusingly like a little kid. Shannon Chan chuckled at his abrupt contrast. Oh, it's a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. But it's, like, anime always does this weird shit. This is just a perennial anime thing. Problematic age difference is just, like, part of the genre. If there's no... That's so bad, I can't believe you said that. It's no surprise you're so well prepared. As someone who will bring prosperity to his company someday. Well, making a company prosper really is a tough job. I'm gonna pat myself on the back from noticing right away that they were really into each other. Money isn't the only thing that's important. I learned that, well, when I was studying under my father. Making a company prosper is like owning a castle and leading your subordinates. Okay, I just got so lost with the sauce. My dad really loves reading about great leaders during that warning periods in Japan, a hobby that's probably influenced by the fact that he shares Toyotomi Hideyoshi's name. Much of his philosophy on managing a business comes from talking about them. Did you know? Takeda Shingen. What the fuck? They're talking about the World War, I think. He was feared as the leader of the strongest cavalry corps in the warring periods. Oh wait, no, they're talking about Sengoku Jidai. They're not talking about the World War. They're talking about Sengoku Jidai. Started out with his troops in complete disarray. It didn't have the kind of strong leadership necessary to utilize them well. Is that true? That's a little unexpected. In order to unite his troops, Shingen showed excellent leadership in many ways. For example, when a soldier succeeded well in battle, he would immediately honor them with a medal. Normally, that kind of thing was put off until after a war, and they were all awarded at once. He continued this diligently while on the field of battle, and immediately... Hold up, I'm just gonna double check this, because I'm just a smidge. Takeda Shingen. Okay, I was right. Sengoku Jidai, not Shengoku Jidai. Okay. No wonder he was on Little St. James? can't believe they put him on there. That's so wild they put him on the island. That's wild. He continued this diligently on the field of battle, and immediately showing his appreciation for his troops' military exploits motivated him to an extremely significant fashion. Also, whenever one of his troops was brought down by an illness, he would be the first to rush up to care for them, and so on. Takeda Shingen wasn't just the man who led the strongest cavalry corps in the warring period, he was the person who cared the most for his troops throughout that era. And because he was that kind of person, all his troops went along with him. The truth was, Shannon had already heard this story several years ago. But whenever a discussion of his father led to this sort of topic, George would always glow and look like he was having a great time. Shannon just smiled without interrupting, urging him to continue. Of course, in a capitalist world, money determines both your strength and height of your fortifications. You can't build up a castle or succeed in war by yourself. Such things can only be accomplished with the support of many subordinates and by borrowing their strength. After understanding this, when I look at my father's back, I realize how immature I am. I can clearly see how much competition he had hoped to overcome before building up all he had now. George-sama, you truly look up to your father. I'm jealous. Oh, he's getting embarrassed. His glasses are fogging up. Sorry, that's not how I meant it. I'm sorry, that's not how I meant it either. The two of them awkwardly looked at their feet. Shannon had no parents. Why of all people is Kinzo allowed to own an orphanage? That is so bad. She had been brought up in an orphanage owned by Kinzo called the Fukuin House. This just sounds like a child, labor trafficking house. Under the guidance of Kinzo, their honorary director, the orphanage offered members who excelled a chance for a on-the-job serving experience. If their efforts met with Kinzo's approval, they'd be able to leave the orphanage and work as servants for the Ushiramiya family. This was considered to be the highest honor for those who lived in the orphanage. Servants from the Fukuin house all took names with character ON while they served. Okay, that's a cool detail. So Shannon wasn't her real name. Same went for Cannon. All the members of the Fukuin house were orphans. At least they were all people who had been separated from their parents under special circumstances. Because of this, the orphans had been taught to think of each other as their only family. That's why it seemed so natural for both of them when Cannon called Shannon his sister. And when both Shannon and Cannon were... How many ON names could they really have? Brandon. There needs to be a Brandon. Harlan. And while both Shannon and Cannon were working in the mansion today... Oh, there are other servants. Okay. Okay. So there's more servants in the... Okay, I thought it was just like the four of them. And while both Shannon and Cannon were working in the mansion today, there were several other servants possessing the ON character in their name, such as Manon, Lennon. He's the servant that is all about the distribution of the working resources and the dictatorship of the proletariat. However, There were not many servants who stayed with the Yoshiramiya family for long. It was standard for them to quit after 3 years. So you could probably say that Shannon, who had been working for 10 years, was a notable exception to the rule. Working as a servant for the Yoshiramiya family was a heavy burden to bear, but the pay wasn't bad at all. Working for a full 3 years would earn more than what was needed to enter mainstream society. Oh, so he pays well at least. That was why, even though the orphans realized what a harsh task working for the Yoshiramiya family was, they still hoped to be accepted. Maybe the fact that Shannon managed to continue working for 10 years wasn't because she had more willpower than the other servants. Maybe she'd gotten stuck working for 10 years so she didn't have the courage to say she wanted to quit. Kinzo couldn't even trust his own blood relatives, and these excellent servants sent to him from Fukuin House were the only ones he could rely on. Because of that, Kinzo would sometimes allow them to wear the family crest as servants under his direct control and have them work close to him. You've been working here for almost 10 years now, right? You must have saved up a lot of money by now. I wonder. It's not like there's anything in particular I'd buy. After all, a few million yen isn't enough to live for the rest of your life. So the reason you've been working all this time wasn't to hit some target zone? Yes, that's right. I have nowhere to go outside this mansion, and I've been getting along with Milady and the other servants. The madam does scold me sometimes, but caring for the roses and cleaning the mansion is fun. That can't be your entire life, Shannon-chan. No. He knows her real name! That's wild. He knows her real name. No, Sayo-chan. Shannon cast her eyes downward when she heard her real name. She understood what... It kind of is like it's... If the pay is that good, and they're paying for room, board, food... It really couldn't be bad. She understood what George was trying to say and fell silent. There's something I've learned as I continue to study even after becoming an adult and a full-fledged member of society. A human's life is not as monotonous or short as we thought when we were kids. All school-age kids have certain fears they can't shake. They wonder whether they'll live for the rest of their lives like sleepy classes after a monotonous and boring school day. Spending their time in a carefree laziness without any interesting happening until it's all over. However, life's only like that for underage students. Compared to a human's life, the time they spend as students is nothing more than a blink of the eye, a period where they break through the shells of their immaturity. The inside of the shell might be hot, suffocating in a boring world, but the world beyond that shell is vast and filled with limitless possibilities. So far, your life has been trapped inside the shell called Shannon. I think you're under the mistaken impression that your life will continue like this forever. Shannon couldn't deny these words. She'd been unable to harbor any clear doubts about her lifestyle, and since she never had any hope or goals for changing herself, she lazily continued living the way she always had. And if asked whether this life was satisfying, she wouldn't be able to nod. She may have been intentionally averting her eyes from the truth. Without George's admonishments, she would have continued pretending not to notice as her real life slipped away, bit by bit, neglected. George-sama, is it wrong for me to continue living this way? Yes, it is. Well, who's he to tell her how to live her life? She's happy. She's happy. If she's not, hey, she's gonna leave. Yeah, it is. Oh, and by the way, didn't you break one of our rules just now? George immediately gave a strict answer, then broke into a mischievous smile. Shannon already knew what she had been chided for, and she hung her head again, apparently embarrassed. Didn't you promise not to use Sama when the two of us are alone? I couldn't obey that as a promise, but if it was an order, I would have to obey it, because I'm furniture. And it's an order. Yes, certainly, George-san. As Shannon hung her head, her face red, she said George's name again, this time following it with san. Yes, that's fine, Sayo-chan. George smiled at Shannon, no, Sayo, to praise her small act of bravery. This short exchange alone made it clear how far back their relationship must have stretched. Oh, these two have history. He's been grooming her for a while. That's wild. For a while, the two talked as if the weather raging about them didn't even enter their thoughts. They talked about the many memories they'd built during their relationship that no one else knew about. Every once in a while, a flash of lightning would attempt to interrupt them, but this could sully neither the roses nor the time they spent blushing at each other. Or he is grooming her. It's a little fucked up. This is such a Japanese media thing. That's right. I have something I wanted to show you. He's gonna show her the gold bar too. I think the less I think about it, the less concerned I'll be. George, who had been speaking eloquently, suddenly started to stutter. Watching him, Shannon seemed to guess something. George timidly searched through his pocket. Something got caught in the depths of his pocket, and just like the stuttering, it took a while to get it out. It was a very small box. What the fuck? Is he proposing? Bro, she's not 18 yet. Oh no. What the fuck? It was a small box covered in a deep blue velvet. The peculiar shape was enough to tell anyone what was resting inside. Shannon had prepared her heart somewhat, certain beforehand that this is... Oh, she knew this was coming? Even so, when she actually saw it, this is... They're not gonna get approval for this. They're gonna have to elope. They're not gonna approve this. His parents aren't gonna approve this. Kinzo's not gonna approve of this. She's not gonna wear that. Just pretend George is 19. George has a child bride now. Jesus Christ. Okay. I'm gonna try not to be that. I'm just gonna pretend this is like, it's Japan. They're different. Their culture's a little different. Their age of consent is significantly lower. Oh, Christ. Ugh. George opened the small box, took something out, and held it for Shannon to take. I want you to take this. I couldn't... Okay, I don't think he's actually proposing marriage to her. Or is he? I think I'm just trying to rationalize this. George. Okay. I couldn't accept something so valuable. You can't take it? No, I'm unworthy of such a thing. Sayo, this isn't a request. It's an... Okay, now he's bossing her around. We got power dynamic. We got age difference. How else is George gonna continue being problematic? I'm gonna... Oh God. Take this ring. Okay? Yeah, if it's an order, I cannot disobey. No, George. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Well done. This is weird. Shannon, while not wanting to show her bright red face, timidly accepted the ring from George's hand while she was staring at the ground. The ring wasn't a simple accessory. It was a noble object, meant since ancient times to be offered to special women under special circumstances. Therefore, while George could order her to take it, he could not order anything beyond that. Anything beyond that would depend not on an order, but on Shannon, no, Sayo's own will. So from here on out, I'm not ordering you anymore. Sayo, I want you to give me your answer by tomorrow, without using words. Do you understand? How should I won't order you any further, so this isn't an order. But a ring is something you put on your finger after all. Gosh. If you like, you can just put it on any finger you choose, but you probably should do the ring finger. Shannon had only pretended... Could you imagine if the ring just didn't fit? Okay, George. Great job on getting your child bride, I guess. Whatever. Shannon had only pretended not to know. She already understood what he wanted her to do, but she was standing at a huge crossroads of her life. Look at how late it's gotten. Let's call it a day. George turned away from Shannon, just acting just a bit bluntly. I could probably order you to wear it on your left hand. No, that's wrong! Oh my god. This is fucked. You might be timid, independent enough to actually obey that kind of order. But I want at least this last step to be done by your own will, Sayo. Understand? Yeah, yes. So, that's my order. I want you to think about it well tonight and show me your answer tomorrow. Ellipses. Shannon nodded back. Today was the culmination of their many days spent together. This moment certainly hadn't come as a surprise to Shannon. We should be getting back to the guest house soon. If we take any longer, we'll make everyone worry about us. Oh, I'm sorry. I just remembered something I had to do back in the mansion. I have to go back to the mansion. At a time like this? Is that true? George stared at Shannon's face as he laughed mischievously. He definitely saw through Shannon's lie. However, when he saw how she felt, he could sort of understand that she might be embarrassed that she'd want to be alone. So, because George realized the meaning behind Shannon's lie, he accepted it. Okay, George, you now have a child bride. Man, I can't believe they found Shiramina George in the Epstein flight log. That's so crazy. Alright, it's 11 o'clock. This is probably the last dialogue scene I'm going to do tonight. And I bet it lasts an hour and a half, and I stream till 3 a.m. Shannon entered the entrance hall. See, this is like a translation thing. Entered the entrance is just kind of... Shannon entered the entrance hall to the mansion with a tottering gait. It should be called a foyer. A mixture of exaltation and uncertainty gave her a feeling that she couldn't easily describe. It swelled up in her chest until... I'm not even a good writer. Who am I to criticize this game's writing? I suck at writing. It swelled up in her chest until it felt like she was about to burst. After stopping for a second in front of the servant room to take a deep breath and calm her heart, she opened the door. Inside, Goda, who had been ordered to take the midnight shift at the mansion, was absorbed in a worn-out crossword puzzle magazine. Guys, George isn't a bad guy, I swear. Oh god. George is just a groomer, it's okay. That's so bad. He looked for an instant to see if one of the family had come, but when he realized it was a fellow servant, he returned to his puzzle as if nothing had happened. Genji-sama told me to come and help you. Ah, is that so? That's a relief. I was just about to go check if the mansion was fully locked up, but I felt uneasy about leaving the room unmanned. After all, Kraus-sama and the others' meeting looks as though it will continue for quite some time. They might request some tea at any moment. That's true. Then what shall we do? Should I watch over... In that case, forgive me, Shannon-san, but I'll ask you to patrol the mansion. I will stay here, awaiting the family's orders. Yes. Shannon was slightly disgusted. Even though she'd come here to stop a favor, she was casually being forced to do the job of the person actually on duty. Furthermore, after one-sidedly forcing that task on her, Goda returned to his magazine once again and became immersed in his crossword puzzle. Jeez, what a jag-off. Shannon bowed her head as a token of respect for her elder, then left the room to patrol the mansion. She's gonna see some crazy shit. I guarantee it. Thanks to her being a bit ticked off, she managed to suppress that floaty feeling she'd been having until just now. And anyway, she couldn't let Genji or Kanon see her like this. She wanted a little time to herself until her heart calmed down. So maybe going on patrol wouldn't be so bad. She began to hear the tumultuous voices of the family discussion coming from the dining hall. Someone was speaking at great length, only to be interrupted by someone else. The second person also began to speak in a very long, drawn-out fashion, until yet another person interrupted. That kept on repeating. It was as though their displeasure was seeping out through their voices. She'd been told to go to the guest house, so it would be bad if Kraus discovered her. Thinking is, Shannon dashed past the dining hall. Then, she went along a prearranged route through the dark mansion, checking all the locks were secure. She walked down the hall, checking each window. There were no humans on Rokenjima other than those connected to the family, so walking up didn't really serve much of a purpose. Well, it seems kind of like a safety hazard. Like, what if there's an emergency? I don't know. No one had been in the habit of locking up at the Ushirimiya head family, at least not until Natsui had scolded them for being careless. The metal fixtures on the windows were ice cold, and as she checked them one by one, the glow in her heart seemed to cool down. Ellipses? Question mark? Oh shit, she's seeing the butterflies. Oh, it's in the hall? Oh shit. At that time, she thought she saw something twinkling across the hall. Twinkling? How could anything be twinkling through the darkness of a hall? Oh, this is a really creepy picture. Holy shit. She figured she must have been imagining it, but she still held her breath. Grasping a curtain, she fearfully gazed down the hall. However, other than the occasional crack of thunder brightening the hallway, she was unable to glimpse any flicker again. It must have been her imagination after all. Maybe her heart was so agitated that she'd just seen something that didn't even exist. Shannon went back to checking the windows. However, a certain unnerving memory was resurrected in the back of her mind. It was that ghost story, which had been passed down amongst the servants who had served the Ushiramiya head family. The mansion had two different masters, one of the day and one of the night. Beatrice, the master of the night, would sometimes fly around the mansion in the form of sparkling butterflies. That was the story. Come to think of it, didn't Canon-kun once say he'd seen it with his own eyes? Though he got sulky when he must have imagined it and refused to believe him. When I said he must have imagined it and refused to believe in him, could it possibly be true? The roar of the thunder gave no answer. Creepy. Oh god. Reminds me of like sleeping in my grandparents' house when I was a kid. The whole house is filled up with a bunch of like old grandfather clocks and cuckoo clocks, and all they would, when they would go off at night, it would scare the ever-living daylight out of me. I live in a super old house. Very spooky. I'm so glad. Those two are just chilling. She's sleeping. The witch again. Ooh, I got an achievement. All the pieces are in place. But what will you see on the game board? All right. 6 a.m. Battler never talked to his dad. I mean, oh wait. I mean, Kyrie said she'd do it, but the second day, October 5th, 1986. That's where I'm going to leave off for today. Seems like a good place to end. I'm so in... Yeah, exactly. You agreed. You saw the writing on the wall. I think this is a perfect place to end for today. Man, it took me like 15 hours to just finish the first day. That's so crazy. This game is huge. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I had a really good time. I'm really enjoying this game. Alright, I'm heading out. Wait. Title. All right. Well, have a good night, guys, and I'll see you